We're live. Check the channel.
We're live.
All right. Hey guys, Lucas Green here, and I am back once again with good old Adam Fearns.
Hello. I am. Yeah.
Doing fine.
Ready for another ranking.
Oh, there's Kyle. Look, one of the moderators is here already. Hello, Kyle. So for today's list, as you can clearly tell, we are officially doing the Disney films. There's a pause there. Doing the Disney films because I don't have my title up on this one, so I had to take what I say with a grain of salt. But yeah, again. Also, we didn't say this in the last video, I don't think, Adam. But when it comes to these rankings, they can change from time to time. Same goes for Adam here. So if what we say now doesn't apply for all time, sometimes it will probably change because Adam knows two specific movies from Disney that can change from me on the golden era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I'm just experiencing a bit of audio issues with you. I'm just going to quickly leave and come back. Okay.
All right.
That works.
He'll be back. Logo Custom Boy says hi, welcome. Doesn't The Simpsons Darth Vader count? I wish, that would be awesome. I hope to get some customs out, but you never know with how things are. I do want to get out some collaborations with Adam at the same time, though. So there is that to consider. So we just gotta wait for Mr. Fearns and we'll get started. He shouldn't be too long because he knows that we're here. He should have that little thing pop up and we'll get started. Right. We have 3 honorable mentions. And of course the 10 spots. Hence why it's top 10. And we'll work our way from there. Hopefully Adam won't leave me in the dark too much before he returns. Hopefully. But again, there will be an edited version, so I can always cut some of this out. Feel free to put in your comments, by the way. I mean, gives me something to do in the meantime. My favorite Disney film has to be Maleficent or Alice through the Looking Glass. Interesting choices. Those are both live-action movies. I do appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, there are some live-action films I don't mind. Aladdin is okay. Cruella I haven't seen, but I've heard a few good things, which I'm curious about. Again, they're not going to top the originals, but they are pretty good movies in their own. I do like it when they do their own little thing. Oh, Adam's back. Click, 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 and we wait. Well.
Yeah, it's better now, I believe. Sorry about the long delay.
Hopefully we don't have another streaming issue like back before, because we used to have a streaming issue. Because last video we had a 2-hour stream and that had no issue at all.
Yeah, for some reason 2 hours, good. An hour and a half, nah.
Right, I just read the comments, so we're fine. So that being said, we shall now take the liberty to begin our ranking. Now we have 3 honorable mentions, which I've already explained on both of us. So we'll do the 3, 2, 1 countdown reveal shot at the same time, and when we get to the 10 spot and all the way down, we'll see how we go. Right. For the first spot, who wants to go first on the honorable mention after talking about it? No, to the back. After revealing it, who wants to go first talking about
it? Do you want to go first?
Okay. I've got my image up. Have you got your image up?
Yep.
All right. I think like this honorable mention, this movie should be obvious. It was going to be mentioned from the get-go for you, Adam, because you do have some connect. You know I have a connection with this movie, but you haven't. Are you ready?
We made predictions on what films we think will appear, and I think I'm right with one of them now.
Countdown. I'm ready.
2, 1, go. Oh.
What the? What? You got to be. Okay. That is. Would you count that as a like our first tie thing?
Yeah, sure.
Would you? I was not expecting that about you.
I'll be honest, I was not expecting Toy Story. I was expecting something else. Maybe that'll come later.
Now, to be fair, you could see why I put Toy Story, because I've already mentioned this and shown about my love for this franchise before on the Linksy series.
Yeah. I do understand why you put Toy Story there, and I'm sure you know why I put Toy Story 3 up there.
Well, I just was expecting it this early. I thought you were going to put it higher or something. So it didn't even qualify as the list? Okay. Now, before anyone harps on us, I know it has to be lots of stinking Pete and Zurg, okay? Before anyone bangs, how could you put Toy Story in Toy Story 3 this low and not in the actual 10? I feel offended. Again, take what we say with a grain of salt, because opinions can change, but let's just hear us out. So, also, Toy Story for me.
Sorry. Also, there's like 50 Disney animated films. The top 13 isn't that bad. It's quite good. So,
right. Yeah. So, Toy Story for me has an emotional impact, like a lot of other people do, because it was one of the first videos or VHSs I received when I was a little child. From both my mom and my dad, and it was a very nice, heartwarming present. And I got to watch it, and I grew attached to the characters and all that. And it was the first movie for Disney that started the change and started the trend for Pixar movies, where they are able to advance their technology, and that progressed onwards to Disney on their own right to do their own movies like Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, and Frozen, and all that stuff like that. So it does have a big impact on Disney overall, with not. And it also shows like the type of movies they'll be making, like movies with comedy and more popular type of jokes, which has this movie has had a real big impact on not just Disney, but on how other franchises from other companies have done, like DreamWorks and so on and so forth. So it has had a big impact on the world, and it's understandable why it's got so many sequels. And the whole thing between Buzz and Woody come back and forth. And the emotional impact of the story is pretty good. Finding out he was a toy, and the fact it's that scene where it's like, you know, he talks to him saying how he's important, no matter what he is, and that emotional connection between the two of them is a strong bond. And it's pretty easy why, with fun, colorful characters, a strong plot story. True, the technology isn't the best at the time because they're starting out, but I feel like the strong story and the bond helps that emotional impact home. So obviously you can see why Toy Story 1 would be there. As for Toy Stories 2 and 3, I'm going to be honest, I didn't put them on my list because I feel like number 1 had the most strong emotional impact. Because like, it's these two trying to get together to be friends and work their differences aside. As for whose story it is, it's hard to say. Some say it's Buzz's story, some say it's Woody's story. Adam, give your thoughts on that.
I'm 100% on the side of it being Woody's story.
Even though it's Buzz who has to learn who he is.
Yeah, whilst Buzz does need to learn that, Woody had to deal with the facts that he wasn't Andy's favorite for a period of time, and that caused jealousy, which is a rather stereotypical thing in movies. But I think this was done wonderfully there, and I do agree with you putting Toy Story there.
With that being said, I'm going to get to the comments, and after that, we'll transition to Adam. Adam, what do we got for the comments?
I don't know. Trying to get to the comments. Insert name here. Do you want to see the Justice League versus Marvin the Multiverse, Marvin the Martian Armada? What? That's a big name. That's a Looney Tunes character, isn't it? Marvin the Martian.
I believe so. Hi, Walter Productions.
Hello.
We're doing fine.
I'm good.
Right then, Toy Story 3.
Right. Oh God, I keep going to the wrong app. So just to get a picture of the Toy Story 3 picture up, so I know what I'm talking about.
So why this one?
Right. Okay. Like Lucas said about the other Toy Story films first, the first one, the second one are not going to be on my list. I find the third one to be more emotional and bigger stakes. And the fourth one, Lucas hasn't seen it, I don't think. But what I will
I
say
have
is
seen it, but it didn't
oh,
grab me as much as it didn't grab me as much as the trilogy did.
okay, fair enough. Well, it's basically a remake of the first one, to be fair. But the third one seems to be the most standout out of all of them, in my opinion, as the first two films came out roughly around the time when me and Lucas were kids, just watching this for the first time. And Lucas, especially, we grew up with this series. And with the third one coming out at the time when we're grown up, moving away from the animated films and all that, it just adds that extra level of depth to us. And then the final scene where Andy says goodbye to his toys and passes them on is probably the most emotional scene from any Disney movie there is. And I'm not even going to lie here, I still shed a tear whilst I watched that scene.
What's the ending?
Not to mention Lotso being the most evil Toy Story villain there is, in my opinion. And also him basically having a whole army of daycare toys that just want to be played with and being treated right, was taking advantage of the newcomers or the weaker toys. But it's also a story for Woody where he needs to accept the fact that he can't always be there for Andy. If you ask me, every Toy Story movie is based around Woody. I originally thought maybe it's a bit Buzz in the first one, Jesse in the second, Woody in the third, and all that. But I'm sticking to what I say, Woody's for all of them. He's the main character for all the movies for me.
Well, yeah. Well, if that's the case, then it's a good thing they got rid of him, probably.
Okay, that's just
no, he's not dead. Don't worry. I didn't mean that he's dead. But he's not dead.
That is so uncalled.
I mean, I didn't mean it that way, but focus on other characters and all that.
Yeah. Maybe Bullseye gets a chance in the spotlight.
Bullseye, he's Woody's horse.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have gone with him. Whatever.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I need to say about Toy Story 3. The only reason why it's not in my top 10 is because whilst I do have emotional attachment to this, the main reason why it's even on the honorable mention in the first place is, of course, Lotso.
Oh, yes. It's all about the bear. Well, look, the things he also says about the bear, too. What is it with... It's about bear and franchises.
And there's also that last scene as well, which pulls it for me.
Insert says a comment there. I haven't really read that one.
Let's look. Ciao, Vienna. Toy Story 3 has a sad ending. Yes, it does. Insert name here. I'd recommend playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead 2 online. I would really want to see Lucas stop in a train robbery. Hey, that reminds me of Toy Story 3's beginning.
I want to see me robbing a train, right?
Ciao Vienna says, I wonder if they're going to make a
Kaya.
new Lego.
Kaya.
Sorry. And insert name here. Will there be a big fight on the finale of the Linksy series?
There always is, isn't there, Adam? I mean, I've always seen there's a finale at every series.
Yeah, there's always.
But you mean at the end? I mean, I expect there to be. I don't think Adam knows what the final series is called, but the title of it, and I know of it, it should be. And when I say finale of the series, yeah,
you probably what it is. I just didn't remember.
Yeah, but the thing is, finale of the series is in quotes because you never know if the series will end because it's just so good, it just keeps going like Toy Story. Right then.
Series 5 was meant to be the last series, but now it's gone on to Series 8.
Well, to focus on other villains, of course. Moving on. Right, now for the next honorable mention. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm afraid my image for this one's a bit blurred, but it's the best one I can get for it.
Adam, you may now do the countdown.
3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Why? So, who went? I went first for my Toy Story, so you're going first this time.
first of all, it's kind of fitting you went first to the Toy Story one. You talk about the first one, I talk about the third one. But for The Emperor's New Groove, I need to straight up say this one is probably the most funniest Disney movie there is.
Why? How could you not put on the 10? Why?
Well, all four characters that have been shown on the picture I showed, which was Cusco, Pacha, Kronk, and of course Yzma, all of them have hilarious scenes, some more than others. Kronk, not to mention, it has a good story and a kind of similar coming to age vibe to it, where Cusco learns to be a bit more humble and a more respected emperor of what country are they in? South America.
Yeah, like Amazon or something like
that. Maybe. Yeah, I don't, Peru. Maybe. Let's say Peru.
I'm not sure what Peru. Okay.
Yeah, we don't know.
A place where the llamas are.
Yeah. Not to mention, Pacha is probably the most relatable character there is. Not having everything he needs, but is happy with what he has, and also
that's a reference. That's a reference to another Disney movie, if you know what I mean.
Okay, I know what's coming up now.
Okay.
Not to mention, he's always very forgiving and always looks for the good side of everyone, even if they are an absolute.
Yeah, that's my fault too. That's one of my faults in life.
Kronk is probably the what needs to be said about him. He's voiced by Patrick Warburton. That's all I need to say, really. He's hilarious.
You mean Sheriff Cash Tankinson?
Sheriff Cash Tankinson. I was about to say Metro Man, but that's a different person. Joe Swanson. There we are. There's another one. He is loyal to Yzma, but also has thoughts of his own to where they just clash and cause something hilarious to come out of it. Yzma is was not the best villain in my opinion. She has some funny moments which I forgot to mention in the villain ranking, but her simple clash, I guess, which she has with Kronk and Cusco especially, is what makes her a great villain for me, because she's so much different from all of them. And help me out here, Lucas. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Well, the way I put it is like she's a great villain. She has potential. The only thing that's dragging her down is that she's put back by the elements of her peers. Like her henchman ranks her down, like Sinister Strange. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was something else I wanted to say about this film.
Is it related to the characters of the story?
The story. The restaurant scene. That was by far the best scene in my opinion.
Really? I thought that was a bit slow for me.
It may have been a bit slow, but I think I just liked the fact of Cusco and Yzma just going through the door as Kronk is cooking the food, just saying, cheese me, I like cheese, or yes, add cheese, no cheese, no, yes, no. It just made me laugh while I was also watching Kronk just be so confused about what he's doing.
Right.
There are other scenes as well. Negative thing I need to say about this movie.
I wanted to see more.
Yeah, I want to see more.
I would have appreciated a longer boss fight, because Yzma's boss fight was pretty short.
Yeah, it didn't last as long, but at least before the boss fight started, at two separate points throughout that movie, they mentioned probably the most iconic line from that movie: "Pull the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever."
Anything else?
That's all I need to say for now.
All right, catch up with the chat real quick, and then I'll mention mine.
Okay. Kaio says Toy Story 5 probably. That'll probably be focused on Buzz in my opinion, or maybe Woody. I don't know. It really depends who they decide to follow. Insert name here. Is there an ancient race of mysterious people that went missing, like sequel trilogy Luke Skywalker in the Linksy series?
Anything's possible.
Okay. Insert name here says, does the Jaws franchise need a Jaws 3? No.
It has a Jaws. There is a Jaws 3. Well, it does. Okay, it doesn't need to, but it has one for the sake of money.
Yeah, it has Jaws: The Revenge as well, which isn't that good either.
Okay.
Tayo also says Ratatouille. Is that like a movie that you like on the list, or?
For me, or for this guy?
I don't know. It just says
Mackay seems to
Ratatouille.
like it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Jack Griffin says, "Oh, hi, by the way. Have you seen Kronk's New Groove?" No, I have not. I do plan to watch it eventually, though.
It's like a fluffy version of Emperor's New Groove. That's saying something on its own right.
Okay.
But then again, it is Kronk. You expect it to be more fluffy.
Yay!
So, Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going, how dare you? You will burn in the fires of hell for not putting on the top 10. But before Adam goes on one on me, he can understand why it didn't make the top 10.
Yeah, I do understand why that.
And the reason is very simple. Tonal inconsistency. As much as I praise this movie, take out, if you, now, there's actually a video, like if they really wanted to do their own dark thing with this movie, but they couldn't because they were restricted for the Disney formula. Because if they went the full-on Disney route, you know what would have happened?
It would have been a bad movie.
No, they would have said if the full-on Disney route, they would have said you need to take a few things out. One, no hellfire, and two, turn Frollo into a more type of villain like Gaston, not Gaston, Governor Radcliffe. That's what I'm thinking of. That's what they said.
Oh, that would have been okay. That would have made the movie so much worse. So I was right. It would have made it worse.
And of course, take out his vendetta against the gypsies as well. And turn it and they would have turned it into more of a joke than an actual. We get the idea.
Okay, that and also Frollo's lust for Esmeralda. Those
they were taking that out too.
Those are the only things that I could have lived without.
Oh, yeah.
It would have made it worse, but it would have been okay. I would have lived with it.
It is. But as it stands, Hunchback of Notre Dame is a phenomenal, underrated gem in the Disney Renaissance and throughout Disney. It's one of those Disney movies that does kind of break the formula, but it's not a bad way. It's a good thing because they're taking risks and it shows how the effort was made. I feel like there are 3 or 4 characters that stand out for me in this movie. One is obvious.
I know all 4 of them.
Okay, who are they then?
Quasimodo, Judge Frollo, obviously, Esmeralda, and Phoebus.
Well, I'd take off Esmeralda. I would say the Jester stands out more than her.
I don't know his name. That's why I didn't mention him.
His name is Clopin, and he's the one who provides the narration for the story. And he's like how do I put it? He's like the voice of either Notre Dame or the gypsies in general. But it's again, those specific characters help drive the movie and build it up with such great even the score is like Lion King good. And I'm not talking about the soundtrack songs. I'm talking about the actual score itself. Has this big Celtic weight, and there's this feeling of God in there. And the fact, of course, seeing Frollo do all the thing I didn't mention this in my villain ranking at all, but I should have said it here. One of the things I like about Frollo, and I'm completely agree with me on this, is the fact that he's the type of person which is he does something that is a lot of relatable to a lot of people nowadays. And yeah, okay, aside from the whole sin thing of gypsy, he justifies his actions every time. And that's twisting the knife, and his BS excuses kind of like, yeah, true, he did that, but that's again, it's really awesome. Quasimodo, likable main character. You can clearly see where he's coming from. I mean, we're not all perfect looking human beings, but then again, what is perfection? No, there isn't. And Esmeralda's okay. I feel like Esmeralda is like a plot device. She keeps getting torn right and left between in this love square relationship, because you've got Esmeralda, Frollo, Phoebus, and Quasimodo all in this relationship love square thing going around. Esmeralda's bounced around like a soccer ball. And then I would say Another thing I would say is a bit rude is for Esmeralda to kiss the captain in front of Quasimodo. Like, expect him to have feelings. No, fuck that. Apparently not. Hell with that. Take that back. Sorry, don't take the hell. Ignore the hell part. But yeah, overall, as much as I appreciate this movie, I really do. I've got it on Blu-ray. It's great. But again, because of the tonal inconsistencies from dark, fire, hell, and then cut to the gargoyles, and then back to hell. I mean, give me a break. Even in the festival scene, where it starts off with of course, the people throwing food at him, it then cuts to all these goofy sound effects in this ridiculous chase. You know, when Esmeralda's trying to run away from the guards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very hard to. The creators wanted a good Disney movie, but they were held back by Disney themselves, and that's what happened. And that's why, for me, as much as I love it, that's why Hunchback didn't make the top 10. But still, great movie of all. And now for the comments. We're a bit behind.
Okay. Oh wow, very far behind. Super Legend Star Wars Universe says Lion King. No one loves.
Don't panic.
Kaio says Mulan. Yep, great movie. Insert name here. In what other timelines do you want to see Disney princess movies?
I have no idea. I'll answer that.
Oh wait, he explains it later, but I got other comments to go through. Kaio says, I hate Gaston.
Wow.
Jose needs response saying the power of Gaston's chin. And Kaio responds saying Gaston's chin. 6 laughing was crying emojis. And then insert name here. In what other time periods do you want to see Disney princess movies? And do you think original character, a Disney princess adventure video game would work?
That would be cool. I've done it with Epic Mickey, so I don't see why I could do it with princesses.
Yeah, maybe. In what other time periods? Oh, right. Okay, I get it now. Brave was like the medieval times. Tangled's more modern times, and Snow White.
I think Tangle was Germany.
No, I mean it means what time period? So World War II, that kind of time.
Yeah, I got you.
I think princess during the 17th century England. 17th century England. That might be good. That's medieval times. Right. Okay. I honestly do not mind. I don't know enough about this to actually answer. Insert name here says, would a Hit Woman spin-off game work?
Would it?
I don't know.
Thanks for the comment.
Griffin. Yeah, thanks. Jack Griffin also asks, which one of you two is older?
Considering my facial hair, I would say I am.
Well, I got facial hair as well, but
Lucas is mine better than yours. But yeah, I'm 23, and he's not.
I'm 19. Okay.
Don't worry, Adam. You get to live longer.
I turned 20 at the end of the year.
Hercules, somebody kills Scar. Yeah, they see the skin of Scar.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't say that kind of fits in well because in Lion King, Zazu says Scar makes such better throw rug.
The only thing there is that the hyenas ripped him to bits, so which means someone found his corpse, sewed it back together, and then ripped out what's left of it inside.
Yeah, taxidermy.
Moving on. The third and final honorable mention. I need to get my thumbnail up. My image. I didn't have the time to do this. I should have done it off camera. Well, not on camera, just when the comments is off.
In your own time.
Oh, F you. Just need to locate the movie. Are we up to date with comments?
Hold on, just gonna check now. Yes, at the moment.
Okay, I've got it. This is another one of those underrated movies. Right.
You ready?
Okay, I got the image up. Right.
Okay.
When you're ready, Adam.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Yep. Treasure Planet. Wow, we were one off from doing a tire.
Now you know why I know why I was trying to hold in my laughter when you revealed Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Well, you said that honorable mentions had no official order, so you could just swap one around.
I know I could have, but I didn't know you're going to pull up the Hunchback of Notre Dame then.
So, who went first last time?
I did, so it's your turn now.
Oh God, talking about a movie that I haven't seen without spoiling it. No pressure. This one is underrated, I would say, because like this is another movie where they're trying to do that tonal, you know, it works better for this movie compared to Hunchback, where they're trying to adapt an old classic storybook, but tell it in a more modern day, try to fit in. They're trying to do like 50-50. For the old people who like the book, they're still trying to keep those book elements, but they're also trying to keep modern day sci-fi for the new audience. You know what I mean?
Doesn't it try to recreate Treasure Island from
that book?
Robert Louis
Stevenson.
Yeah. See, I know something.
But yeah, so it's a good blend. And even the ship itself is called the RLS Legacy. Yeah, Suki did that movie.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so of course, if you know the tale of Treasure Island, then you'll know the tale of Treasure Planet. Only it's in space. Also, it's now there are a lot of inconsistencies in this movie. I can see people saying, "How do they breathe in space? And how does the atmosphere work? How does the time reflect between night and day?" And here's your answer. Very simple answer. This is obviously its own universe. Please accept it. It's pretty simple to understand. I mean, no one ever thinks of that scenario. I'm sure some do, but there are a lot of people who think this reality takes place in the same reality as our reality. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this movie is a fun retelling of that story. I don't know if Adam's read the book of Treasure Island, but yeah, luckily he can watch Treasure Planet and understand. Hold up, if he hasn't seen Treasure Island, he doesn't know the twist. And don't mention the twist, even though it's so obvious.
I know of the twist. I briefly mentioned it in the Disney villain ranking.
Right then. Also, though, so yeah, he knows who the bad guy is. And that's pretty flippin' obvious in the book, but whatever. But it's nice that they readapted because the original. You want to say the bad guy's name?
I don't remember his name. All I know is he has a robot arm.
Okay, robot arm, we'll call him. Okay. Or the cyborg. The original one obviously had like a peg leg and stuff, but they've adapted it so like he has like he still would have the missing limbs, but since it's futuristic technology, he has all the robotic limbs as you would expect to for like missing limbs and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And they were able to do an effect from Tarzan, which they fully used for this movie, and it's called Deep Canvas. And if you don't know what that is, it's that where you see Tarzan from Son of Man, at the end of Son of Man, there's a sequence where he's swinging for the vines and all that, and he hops on a tree and he turns around for the camera.
It briefly didn't it briefly appear at the end of the movie as well?
Yeah, it probably did that as well. But yeah, those vine sequences, it's the same thing as that because the whole the whole movie mostly takes place on the RLS Legacy, which is a moving ship. So that's why they kept using deep canvas throughout that movie, and why you get these gorgeous looking shots that you do. But yeah, overall, I would say that is a fun ride. It has the strongest element of the movie is between the hero and the villain, and it's not in a way you'd expect kind of way. Not like Frollo and Quasimodo. It's more like trusting one another and the bond that grows on. But yeah, overall, great Disney movie. I'm sure Adam's going to have interesting fun with that one when we get to it on our reaction. That being said, good to go, and I'm enjoy this movie. It's on my Blu-ray list, and I enjoyed it, and I'm happy to come back to it anytime I want to. There is one weakness to this movie, and that's in the final act. I'm not going to spoil for Adam, but Adam will understand what I mean.
Okay, that one I actually do not know about. So luckily I was not spoiled about that. Kaio says in Stitch and Lilo is the other way around. There's a poster of Mulan in Nani's bedroom.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I was about to say they kind of look the same, so they could be distant relatives for all we know.
Well, no, it's not just like a. That tells me either Mulan is a movie in the Lilo and Stitch universe, or it was an actual act, and that passed on down like for a generation. Because like Lilo and Stitch takes place in modern day compared to Mulan, which takes place in the past. So maybe they remembered her and had a poster of it.
Or maybe it's an Easter egg, like Pixar does. So, insert name here. Were you two ever invited to a viewing of a Disney film? I invited myself to watch a Disney film, but not to a proper premiere viewing.
I never saw a Disney movie in the cinema. That I remember. I could have been a baby. Who knows? Oh yeah, there is one. I have seen Incredibles 2 in cinemas, and Big Hero. I have also seen Big Hero 6 in cinemas.
The only ones I've seen in cinema was The Incredibles 2, Monsters University, and Finding Dory.
All right, and now we're officially at number 10. How are we doing on the chat, Adam?
Kaio says,
hold up, we're not at number 10. We started to talk about your movie, don't we?
Yeah, I was about to say. Kaio says, Tarzan was the first Disney film I have ever watched. Same here. Jack Griffin says, what was the first Disney film you watched? For me, it was Tarzan.
Really?
Hi.
I check my notes.
What was the first Disney film you watched? Jack Griffin asks.
First Disney movie I watched.
Yeah.
Might have been Toy Story.
Okay. Jack Griffin also says, have you seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame too? No, I have not, but I know the animation is a lot worse.
Well, it's supposed to be. It's a cheaper movie. And the villain is more vain.
Okay.
It's a disappointment.
Right. Now, I believe we're caught up with the comments. Time to get on to the topic of The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Again. I'm sure when we get to we know, Adam, when we get to Disney songs, we're also going to be talking about it again.
Oh yeah, definitely.
God damn it.
So first thing to point out of Hunchback of Notre Dame, the problem I have with it is the same problem that Lucas has with it. It's the tone. It does not know what it wants to be, and it had a good plan put into it, but Disney itself had to make it more child friendly because it's a child's movie. I'm
just impressed with the stuff they got away with.
Yeah, I'm still surprised. Yeah, I'm actually really happy they got away with so much. But yeah, the parts that were able to keep in are the parts which I absolutely love, and that kind of gives you a hint to what my dark side is like. So Judge Frollo is easily my favorite character in that movie, with so many reasons, being his ideals, the way he stands up for what he believes in, and also using his words as his most powerful weapon, his lust for Esmeralda, his hellfire, of course, his death, a bunch of other stuff as well. Frollo is, in my opinion, close to a perfect villain.
He is.
Anything dragging him down? Yeah, he wasn't number one on the intimidation list. What the hell, Lucas? What the hell?
When you see, I've already justified my reasons.
Yeah, I know you did.
Anyway, though,
Quasimodo, when on my first viewing of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, within the first scene with him in, I instantly fell in love with him because of how nice and caring he is, and my love for this character just grown as the movie progressed. Esmeralda, like Lucas said, just seems like a plot device. Just seems to be stuck in this love square with three other people. One seeing her as heaven, the other seeing her as hell, and the other one seeing her as who she is. I'll let you decide which one's which, because it's kind of obvious. Phoebus, I don't really care for, though. I do like his ideals. I do respect the fact he draws a line at certain things and he's not afraid to stand up to Judge Frollo. But other than that, he just seems like that stereotypical, "Hey, I'm here to steal your girl" guy. This time, he actually succeeds. So,
When you say he's here to steal your girl, is that Phoebus talking to Quasimodo or Frollo?
both.
Okay, he doesn't say it.
Yeah. Another thing that pulls it down for me is actually the gargoyles.
Yeah, that's obvious.
The tall one, I do not know the names. The tall one is all right. The other two, I do not like.
All right, a bit real quick. The gargoyles are named after Victor, Hugo, and Laverne, which is the name of the author. That's why.
Okay. Well, the big one, that one's the only good one in my opinion.
You've got the pacifist, you've got the old lady, and you've got the glutton.
The pacifist is the good one. Yeah. What else to say about that? Nothing really much else to say that Lucas hasn't already said. Thank you.
I mean, there is something I want to say about this, and that is two things. One is they could have easily take out Hugo, the goat banging one, keep Victor and Laverne, and you're fine. Because they at least progress his character. There's no point. If anything, it was Hugo's fault because they kept building up his love for Esmeralda, and that led to you know what, Adam. The other thing I was going to say was I didn't mention this. It was about Frollo. What was it? Oh God, don't forget it now, man. Don't forget it now.
This, I believe in you.
Oh yeah, it's like oh that was it. Like his issue was like when this is a guy who is basically, and I don't offend anyone, a virgin, and the fact that he's never had this kind of affection, he sees it as a spell. He doesn't understand the human body. That's just twisted.
So much
like,
more.
He turns a human desire into an actual spell of sin. That fascinates me. It's like a David Tennant where it fascinates me. Like, really? Okay.
Okay. Well, technically, I know he's not the one, but isn't he kind of a man of God kind of thing? So he has this religious vibe to him. If so, then that affection won't be until after marriage, though. So I'm trying to defend Frodo. What is wrong with me?
Defend him.
Why am I defending Frodo?
Also, for the books, if you don't know about anything about the book, according to the book, Esmeralda is supposed to be in her teens. Frollo is supposed to be in his 50s.
Oh, that's so much worse.
16 to be exact. And I believe the characters look about, Esmeralda in the movie looks about early 20s. Frollo looks about 70, if that's being generous.
Quasimodo's 20.
Phoebus about mid 20s.
Yeah, mid 20s.
There's a lot of young people in this movie. Anyway, though, that's all.
Even though Esmeralda looks young, I'm glad she looks older than the age that she's meant to be in the book. Because then, if she was that age, this movie would not even be released.
Just be happy that there are some things that the book did do that they wanted to do that the book did, but they didn't because in the end of the book, Frollo does die because of I think it's Quasimodo accidentally stabs Esmeralda out of a judge of jealous rage because he thinks she's dead, and then he wraps his dead corpse around Esmeralda as he's dying with her. And no more, no. If that happened, okay.
Okay, that's enough Hunchback of Notre Dame for us. But yeah, one question, Lucas: are you surprised that the Hunchback of Notre Dame was not on my top 10?
I mean, no, because I would explain why and my justification for it.
Yeah.
So I can understand where you're coming from because it's basically the same reasons. Well, I explained it.
For me, it had to be in the honorable mentions. It shouldn't be in the top 10. But it is just a good film.
But Disney, just blame it on. It's not the creator's fault. It's Disney wagging its finger.
Yeah. Back to comments. Kaio says, is Big Hero 6 and The Incredibles related? Yes, they're both superhero movies. Kaio also says, my favorite Disney movie is Bambi.
Just take the gun, shoot the deer, there you go.
More power to you there. I have only watched half of it, and I kind of found it a bit boring. But more power to you there, though.
Yeah, Clayton was in the forest.
Oh yes, that explains so much. But I thought it was Gaston though.
Okay, then it was Gaston in the forest.
They're both hunters. Okay, so now we're at the top 10 now.
Have you seen Lion King 2 and Lion King 1.5? Me, yes, both of them. Adam?
Yes. I have
Okay.
seen both of them, and Lion King 2 is amazing.
Awesome.
It's not as the original, but it's still quite good.
The villainess is very close to Scar, if not more so. I think the remakes are the worst. Remakes of what? If you mean the Disney live action remakes, I get you.
Oh yeah.
Moving on. I'm trying to catch up on this list. Okay, we're now at number 10. Who's going first for this one?
You are.
Of course it is. The awesome one.
Wait, hold on.
All right.
Oh no, it's me. It's me. Sorry.
Is that being honest or is that a joke?
It's being honest. I was just sourcing. I was just thinking about it because
when you're ready.
I went first. The Empress New Groove. You went first with Treasure Planet. Then I'm going first with this one. So 3, 2, 1. Number 10 is. Ooh. It's different eras. So Wreck-It Ralph. So first thing to say about Wreck-It Ralph, I am a huge nerd when it comes to video games. I just don't know a lot about them. But watching this movie, I was ready to catch so many video game references like Sonic, Pong, Qbert, Pac-Man, and a bunch of other stuff. Even maybe Pokemon if I'm lucky. There was no Pokemon.
Street Fighter, Tapper.
Yeah, the Street Fighter, Tapper.
Just Dance.
Technically a Call of Duty and Mario Kart spin-offs as well. So many other stuff in that movie which had so many references. Every single detail is phenomenal. And the story is actually a unique one of a bad guy not wanting to be the bad guy anymore.
Spoiler.
That's not a spoiler. That's the story plot. What I was about to say though is a spoiler. So spoiler alert. But the bad guy accepts who he is, though. That's the difference from so many other Disney movies that have that similar plot, which there are lists of. Anything else to say about Wreck-It Ralph? The villain is probably not the best, but probably. How would you describe King Candy in Turbo?
One of the best twist villains.
There we are. It was one of those twist villains which I didn't see coming, and I don't think Lucas saw coming as well. Did you? No. We're both little dum dums, but we didn't see this twist villain coming. I found personally Fix-It Felix hilarious and probably the funniest character in that movie actually. And the townspeople, Nice Landers. Yeah, I just going to throw this out there. I do not care for them. I honestly hate them.
Well, it's not really their fault. They're just led by Gene, who's basically the Mr. Potato Head.
Gene is the worst, and yeah, I agree. Mr. Potato Head, I also do not like. So
it's always the man with the mustache who causes that stuff.
Yeah. God damn it. Anything else to say about this one? Not really. I think it's more to do with the fact the bad guy wanted to be a good guy, but wanted to be the good guy, he did the bad guy thing by going turbo on this game, who was a bad guy. So
that's confusing. I'm bad, and that's not good. I will never be good, and that's not bad. There's no one else I'd rather be but me.
I honestly feel like Zangief here by saying you are a bad guy, but that does not mean you are a bad guy. This is confusing. Negative thing to say about Wreck-It Ralph is the fact
why the fact that it's so low.
Negative thing to say about it. I think it's just to do with the fact that even though Ralph and Penelope have a good formula together, friendship formula whatsoever, I do not really appreciate their friendship, considering one is a child and one is a middle-aged adult. This is
But then,
this is very similar to Frollo and Esmeralda here. So,
what? It's a friendship. It's not like that. You're taking this too far. You're taking your Hunchback thing onto other movies now.
yeah, I need to go see other movies. I really don't have anything negative thing to say about Wreck-It Ralph. That was literally the only thing I could think of, and that was a last minute thing. The final fight was actually quite good. All the sugary hints, callbacks were nice and made me really hungry for candy. And also that scene where Ralph destroys Penelope's cart is not the most emotional, but is also a very emotional scene in all of Disney. Especially a little fade to a darker shade of all the color or all the characters' colors. I don't know if that's just me or if that's in every movie, but that's what it felt like to me. It goes from a very light, happy, then just goes a tad bit darker. But that's pretty much all I need to say about Wreck-It Ralph, because there's nothing really much else I can say about it.
Okay.
Anyway, let's hear about Aladdin.
Aladdin. Aladdin's a great movie. It has all the elements that make it stand out as a good, iconic Disney film. From its main lead being, you can see where he's coming from, a relatable character to get you clicked in. Also from the Princess Jasmine, who's apparently, according to a lot of popularity, one of the more appealing Disney princesses because Stardust of the Midriff. Okay, thank you. And then you have the villain. Even though he's not one of your favorites, it is the start. It's basically a recycle of the Maleficent formula of the powerful sorcerer trying to get his way because he's sick of being pushed on by the Sultan, who's obviously a bumbling idiot, like, Ferdinand. And then, of course, you have the genie who pretty much stole the spotlight, both in the good and the bad. And I say the bad because, like, from the behind the scenes, if you don't know, Robin Williams said that he'd happily do it and all that stuff as long as his character wasn't used to sell the movie. And Disney, being Disney, broke his agreement. And that's why he got angry and never showed up for the sequel or the series, but they sorted it out and he came back for free.
We know he didn't appear for the live action remake either, because he wasn't alive.
We didn't need to mention that. Don't want to make people sad. Thank you, Adam. Thank you so much. Moving on, no. Great movie though. Robin Williams, one of the great, was the start of bringing celebrities in, but great fun he had, mimicking all these different impressions and doing all these fun jokes that didn't felt forced or out of nowhere, because here it makes sense. He's a genie. He's supposed to have that fourth wall breaking humor. And then, of course, you have accepting lies and telling the truth and being honest with yourself, which is something we still need to learn today. And overall, a good movie with an enjoyable ride, a good soundtrack too. I mean, its own soundtrack, its own theme, and it has its own vibe. It does build itself rather nicely and has a good message overall. So overall, Aladdin, fun ride. I could happily rewatch this movie anytime. And it is overall a good flow, I would say. All right, that's what I've got to say on Aladdin. How's the chat going?
The usual YouTuber says, I think the remakes are the worst. That was in the previous batch, but live action remakes, yes. Kaio says, have you watched Marvel's What If yet? No, I have not.
I haven't.
Okay. The usual YouTuber says, in my opinion, Wreck-It Ralph is okay. I mean, the plot is good, but I think it really felt weird when you watched it. That's actually really accurate to what I've been trying to say, but I failed so badly at saying. But yeah, thank you for summarizing what I was trying to say up. Kaio says, I like Freaky Friday, not the new one, but the original one. I completely agree, but we're doing animated movies, I believe, hence why it won't be on my list.
No, it's basically any type of genre, so that would have counted as well. You wanted to put that on there.
God damn it! Okay, maybe in the future.
I did say everything. Live action Pixar.
Right. Okay. Forgot.
Would you have put it on your list?
I probably would have, yeah. Jack Griffin says, Lucas, do you like the live action Aladdin?
Now, to be fair, this is my personal opinion. I would say it's one of the better live action Disney, not counting Cruella, even though I haven't seen it, but I feel like it's going to be better than Aladdin. I would say it's the best live action remake, recycling its entire formula. Yeah, I always think the original Aladdin is far superior than its counterpart. But compared to, like, if you ask me which is the best live action, again, I haven't seen Cruella or the Maleficent stuff because I don't care for it. I would say Aladdin.
I haven't seen live action Aladdin. I have seen live action Alice in Wonderland though, and it's better than the original. Because I haven't seen the original.
Well, you can't judge that.
I know. Jack Griffin says, one thing I don't understand is when the genie is free, he still has his powers.
So he does, but his powers aren't as strong as before. Because like genies are only more powerful when they're imprisoned, which is why Jafar is more powerful than the genie in the sequel.
Yeah. The usual YouTuber says, are you going to do Pixar? Pixar is included in this list. So, yes. But if you mean Pixar's his own video, you want to do that?
And just so you get my take.
We probably might do Pixar as a separate video, but we may not. I'll be talking to Lucas about that.
We just established that we were only doing using one playlist. Yeah, we will be talking about that, Adam.
Okay, guess we're doing it then. Right, I got my number 9 ready now.
Yeah, I got mine. This was a tough cookie, but then all of these were tough cookies. When you're ready, do the countdown.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
The Lion King. The Lion King.
Big Hero 6.
It's higher than. Well, it doesn't matter. What are your? So who went first last time?
I did.
Oh, my camera's reversed. That explains what happened there. Ugh. Change, you piece of garbage. There you go. You've got a baby. That's all. Go on then.
Right, yeah. Your turn now.
Right, The Lion King. Now this should be on the list because it offends the human race if you do not see it. Now, obviously, The Lion King was the high point of the golden age of Disney, where it brought in a lot of hype and all that praise. And the behind-the-scenes reasons for this movie's making was, at the time, what his name was, it Katzenberg was his last name. He was trying to be the new CEO of Disney, or the head honcho of Disney. So he put up this big plan just to get this going. Like, so far my movies have been a success. So I need to make a big, awesome movie so I can get that job. I make The Lion King. And do I get the job? No. I'm going to start DreamWorks. But so the fact that there's some evil goings on and it led to DreamWorks, but this is the last project he did before leaving. Okay. But still, he left on a grand note. Good on you, mate. But yeah, great movie, based off Hamlet and Shakespeare and all that. I mean, even the intro alone demands you to respect from this movie. So the intro sucks you in 5 seconds or like less, and then after that, you see the rise of the king, and you see the son and their growth and their bond build up, which is obviously. Now, this isn't really a spoiler because it's based off Hamlet, and if you know anything about Hamlet, you know what's going to happen. Because it's supposed to be, the rise of a new king and all that.
I haven't seen Hamlet. Hey, I said it in my Disney Renaissance ranking. It's a combination of Hamlet and Macbeth, and I seen Macbeth. So
whatever. Basically, king guy has to die in order for a new king to rise, and it feels bad because he feels responsible, blah blah blah. But it's actually set up by the evil douchebag, and he has to come back to face evil douchebag in order to take the throne. That's putting it in simplistic terms. Yeah. But yeah. So, of course, though, it's helped by all the actors, though, because you've got Jeremy Irons as the villain. That's a plus. You've got Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones voicing Mufasa, and then you bring in Matthew Broderick as the adult Simba, who's not the best, but I didn't recognize him at first until I rewatched the other movies with him in it. Nala was an actress who did a lot of bedtime story work, and her voice fits for the character. Zazu is obviously Rowan Atkinson, who's done those Mr. Bean stuff. And then, of course, you have the hyenas all fitting their roles, from Whoopi Goldberg to Chicha Marin to Jim Cummings as well. They all fit. All these actors fit their roles, and no one felt out of place to me. Like, oh, I can clearly tell it's someone behind the mic booth. Even the songs are one of the most iconic things. Not just the soundtrack, but the songs, of course. Hakuna Matata, Just Can't Wait to Be King, which is basically insult to your father. It's like, I just can't wait till you die, Dad.
Be prepared.
Be prepared says no meaning. Because like it was so awesome that Jeremy Irons got so sucked into the song that he lost his voice. So Jim Cummings had to take over. Jeremy, you okay? You got a bit carried away there. Sorry, couldn't help myself.
There's also Can You Feel the Love Tonight as well.
Which obviously, that's another thing. Elton John, who has a big hand in this movie, loves that song, and he was offended when it wasn't put on the soundtrack. So he even said himself, put it back on the soundtrack. Okay. We'll put it back on. I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry, Elton. But yeah, even the ending builds up. It's like a full circle of life. I don't know. I just realized. And then Rafiki the monkey. Well, here's a tail, so he's a monkey, yes. Overall, great movie, likable characters, great story, easily rewatchable, more than the live action, in my personal opinion. Even though they brought James Earl Jones back for it, you could tell, like, if you were asked, like, put yourself in, Adam, imagine if you were James Earl Jones. You originally did this great big movie like Lion King, and then you've got to do the exact same performance 20 years later. How would you feel?
I would feel, why am I going back to something that I already done?
Yeah, he felt, if you watch that live action, he feels bored.
Yeah. James Earl Jones, who just...
Yeah, James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader.
Oh, right, he voiced Mufasa then, okay.
Yeah. Overall, great movie, no complaints here. I mean, I enjoyed it throughout. So I've got all, and there's no more to what can be said about the Lion King, but you can accept why it's praises. So that's what I got to say.
We got more comments here. Jack Griffin asks, would you guys do top 10 DreamWorks films? Yes.
Eventually.
I don't even need to ask Lucas for that one. Kaio says, what's your favorite Disney characters? That could be a new top 10 list we can do.
Damn it.
Okay, so we'll answer that question in the future. The usual YouTuber asks, I think you guys should do ranking all Beast Quest books from series 1 to whatever you choose.
If we did that Disney character list, we would be excluding villains for the sake of purposes.
Damn it! Okay, I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, sure. The responding to the usual YouTuber with the Beast Quest from series 1 to whatever ranking. We already done that on our separate channels, but when it gets to series 30, we may do a collaboration on it.
What? Adam, you don't speak for the both of us.
Yeah, I'm just calling Lucas out now. Jack Griffin says Beast Quest Series 27 is already out, so you guys could do a review on the series.
Is it?
I get the first 2 books in September. And the last.
That's what I read. How is it out already?
Maybe. I don't know. Early release maybe, but I'm guessing mine in September and the last 2 in January. So that's when my Series 27 review will come out. Maya Summers says
it's pronounced
Jello.
Maya. She said her name is pronounced Maya.
Maya Summers says Jello. So Jello to you too. She also says, what is your favorite evolution?
Umbreon for me.
Wrong way. Sylveon or Jolteon?
You can't. Not so much. You can't choose. Shame.
Hey, I can't choose. I like all of them.
Okay, moving on. I've said about Lion King, so it's now your shot, unless you've already talked about yours.
I haven't. But first thing I need to say is, hello. I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. Okay, first of all, Big Hero 6. The main reason why it's here, Baymax, obviously. Baymax is probably the most lovable Disney character there is. And if there's others that is in my list, there is. Okay, one of the most lovable Disney characters. I was going to say the most, but there's another one which I love more coming up in the future. He has this kind of innocent vibe, the big beefy guy just being the most innocent guy there is. It's just like a revenge superhero story as well. The villain being assumed dead and a bunch of other stuff. The bringing together of the superhero squads, Honey Lemon, Go-Go, Wasabi, and Fred. Is it just Fred?
Sure, Fred.
Yeah, just Fred. That whole montage and all their superpowers are actually kind of awesome, in my opinion. Especially Wasabi's abilities, my favorite. And of course, Hero being the generic teenager, wants to be a rebel, but after come to terms with a loss he experiences, he decides that he's going to use his brain for good and pulls together this whole team together to stop the main villain.
Which, as for that villain's plot twist, did you see that coming?
I actually did not. Did you?
Don't tell me you expected the red herring.
No, I expected it to be someone that they didn't know, because it's just possible for someone that they don't know.
Okay, sure. He was a terrorist.
Yeah, sure. Iron Man freeze Mandarin, maybe. Oh, what was I going to say now? Yes. I think something else I found quite good about this movie is that Fred is literally every geeky guy ever with the superhero stuff. It's like, oh, we've seen too much. This is the epic car chase where he's trying to try and kill us, but we get away within seconds to spare. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay, sure, we'll live with that. I'm just loving the fact that Fred is breaking the fourth wall, and his dad is Stanley. Don't need I say anymore.
Which is weird because Stanley is about, what, 70, 80 years old, and he's married to a woman, and they finally had a kid in, like, their 60s or something? It's just weird on the time thing, but whatever. Go Stan! You can do anything.
Yeah. Negative things to say about Big Hero 6. I don't really have anything negative to say that I could think off the top of my head, because San Francisco is a creative place of as a setting, as a combination between San Francisco and Tokyo. The superhero costumes and abilities are all kind of creative, and the main villain's motive is also quite interesting to me as well, with the whole revenge by taking everything this guy loves because he took away something that he loves. And then, of course, Baymax's sacrifice, very emotional. Sacrifice is emotional.
Because he's a robot.
Yeah, it's emotional, but not the most emotional. The most emotional scene is the most emotional thing from any Disney movies coming up in the future. But that's all I can really say about Big Hero 6 at the moment. There's not really any negative to say about it, and there's not really much else I could say about it.
Well, I'd say the weakness of that movie for me, and the reason why I didn't make my cut, as much as I watched that movie twice in cinemas, my one weakness is the side characters aren't as, they're just generic. You know, you've got the paranoid guy with Wasabi, you've got the tough girl with Go-Go, you've got the hyperactive girl, and you've got the geeky nerd. They're all basically stereotypes.
Yeah, but the only different thing about that stereotype of the geeky nerd is that he's not fat. Normally the geeky nerd is fat. Like, have you seen Chowder from Monster House?
No. Oh wait, yeah, I have. But that wasn't really. He wasn't really a nerd. He was more like an idiot.
There's a lot of comments now.
I mean, you want a comparison to the average geeky nerd? I'm going to say one person, and that is Gibby Norton.
Oh, God.
And
Right,
was
okay.
he fat? No. And you should. That's the first.
Going back
Carry
to
on.
the. Maya says, I like Sylveon and Leafeon. Great choices. Maya says, the emo goes big in Big Hero 6, my girlfriend. Okay, fair enough. Jack says, did you know Stanley voices Fred's dad? Didn't I say that?
Yeah, you did. But the comment was
Okay.
before
that. Maya says, such a lie. You're lying, Jack. Everyone knows he died. Jack says, when it was out, told you. Maya says, no. Okay. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure, but I think Fred's dad is voiced by Stanley.
That's correct. He is.
It came out before Stanley passed away there.
Yep,
That's
he was.
just a confusion there. But yeah, I do agree. He is an average geeky nerd. It's lanky, but oh wait, no, that's Gibby. Lanky with glasses, because Fred doesn't have glasses. And the usual YouTuber says, Adam, when is Battle of the Beast NG round 2 coming out? Oh.
Yeah, I don't keep holding that up. What's wrong with you?
Moving on to number 8 now.
Wow, you didn't even answer the question.
I'm trying to find free time to do it, really. It's coming really hard to find free time to do it. I'll get out as soon as I can. Moving on to number 8.
Right, when you're ready, on the countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
I can show it. Any minute now. Empress New Groove. Adam, what the fuck?
Lilo and Stitch.
That was hard for me.
What? The Empress New Groove?
Yeah, I forgot about Lilo and Stitch.
Ah.
Can I swap mine for yours now?
No, because I already had the Empress New Groove on my list.
I mean, no. I just forgot. Crap, I forgot about that. But to be fair, you forgot about A Bug's Life and you didn't mention Hopper on yours.
Yeah, so we're even. Right, so I believe I'm going first to this one. So, to start things off, Stitch is that lovable character I was just talking about with Baymax. He is the most lovable Disney character, turning from this violent, aggressive monster to an adorable, very sympathetic puppy. There's really nothing else I can really use to describe that. All the characters are absolutely brilliant, from Lilo being the young girl just wanting to make a friend, Nani being a overprotective sister just to get just to have custody of her child. Oh, not her child, her sister. Yeah, I just realized why I said that as well.
I mean, what happened to the parents?
Yeah, car crash in the rain.
It was raining, and they went for a drive.
Yeah, Stitch. I don't really know what I can really say about that. I already said what I had to say about it. It's just adorable. Jumba, just wanting to see his monster wreak havoc, but also trying to catch him so he can be free from prison. Pleakley, well, actually, because I know Lucas likes this character, Lucas, do you want to explain Pleakley then, please?
What about him?
What do you like about him?
Well, he's the alien race that he can. As Cobra put it, I convinced the alien race that the mosquitoes were an endangered species, even though his alien race didn't seem that very dangerous.
Okay. Pleakley is also voiced by someone who voiced a fair amount of roles in What's New Scooby-Doo.
Kevin McDonald, I believe.
Yeah, me and Luke's been experiencing it a lot recently. Speaking of which, we need to get back to that series at one point.
Yeah, shame on you, Adam.
No, it's not my fault this time. I was actually ready.
I
I
asked you multiple times this too, and you said no answer.
Oh, damn it. I've been found out. The other characters don't really stand out to me. Another one that... okay, tell a lie. There's one other character that two other
Cobra
characters
Bubbles.
What?
Cobra Bubbles is one of them, obviously.
Three characters to stand out to me. One is Mr. Bubbles. Honestly, he's wonderful. He's great.
He demands respect. Like Hopper, he demands it. Just stare. Okay, he's the stupid head.
He's that big, strong guy, just who knows what's going on, but just plays dumb, but also keeps his.
I mean, if you kicked his car, you would be sorry too.
If I found out he was a social worker, I would have just given him my little sister. That just kind of like, okay, nice knowing you. Not gonna keep you anymore. Another character which I like to mention is
Token boyfriend.
I do not remember her name, and I do not care to know her name because I hate her with every fibre
Myrtle.
of my being. Probably her. The little hula dancer girl. That's an absolute.
The one with the glasses, who's known as Myrtle. Yep.
Yeah.
Myrtle Edmonds, to be exact.
I just wanted to mention her because no one likes her. She's very unlikable. That's what I wanted to mention, really.
You said three characters.
Yeah. And my last one is, of course, David.
Token David, who's just there to get the woman.
Can I just say, David, my guy, is the most patient guy there is when it comes to trying to get a girlfriend. Nani has a bunch of stuff going on, and every time David gets rejected by his advances, he's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool, because it wasn't like a flat out no, I don't want to be with you. It's a flat out no, I got to deal with this at the moment." And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. I will be here." And
he's got a lot of commitment. I'll give him that.
He even has that. That's why he's my guy. He's had that. He has that scene with Stitch where he's just like, yeah, these guys are confusing. There was one
time I remembered where David, I think, attempted to put Stitch down, and that was where he said, "You know, I really think they had a chance. Then you came along." Was that supposed to be a negative comment?
That's the scene I was talking about as well, actually.
I always get confused by that scene. Was that supposed to be negative or positive?
See, I don't know.
Because it feels the way he delivers it feels sympathetic, but it feels like a response that would be mean.
I feel like to a child it's negative, as that's hurting Stitch, but to an adult it's positive to David, though, because everything was going fine until Stitch showed up and everything went downhill. It really depends how much sympathy you have for Stitch at that point.
My advice for David is, David, do yourself a favor. You don't need a woman to be happy. Okay, move on.
The final acts is probably not the most action-packed one.
I liked the finale. It was pretty. It was action-packed. It was fun.
Big Hero 6 has more action, in my opinion.
Well, it's supposed to be a superhero movie.
Obviously, Lilo and Stitch has a fair amount of action and also some laughs, especially when Stitch gets rocket propelled upwards towards I don't remember his name. What?
Gantu.
Yeah, him. His the big guy's ship, and he just
the big guy. Okay.
Where he just bursts through the window saying "Aloha."
You're vile. You're foul. You're flawed. I'm so cute and fluffy.
Chucks him out the window. Yeah.
And somehow, luckily enough, it was. I don't know if it was intentional, but come on, Jumper's ship was either temporarily passing by or luckily passed by to catch him.
Yeah, very lucky indeed. But yeah, that's all I really need to say about Lilo and Stitch. Another thing that a friend of mine has told me about this is that Lilo's name is translated to Lost, which is what she was before she met Stitch. And Stitch, as we know, is kind of like stitching things together, which is bringing them together, bringing Nani together with Lilo, bringing David together with Nani, a bunch of things together, stitching literally the family together, which I just found
stitching
to be
the family together, stitching the problems together,
which I found to be wholesome and also a very good link. So I'd like to thank my friend for referencing that, and hopefully she watched this video.
No, it's her. I got it. I know who you're talking about.
But that's all I need to mention about Lilo and Stitch. There's nothing really negative to say about it, really, that I can think of.
Myrtle, there you go.
Oh yes, Myrtle. Yeah, done. Okay, there we are. Moving on.
Okay, as for me, before I go on Emperor's New Groove, yes, I forgot about this movie. If I had known about it, I would have put it. I would have taken that Emperor's New Groove. Looking at my list, yeah, sure, I'd have taken that Emperor's New Groove and put that as an HM. But yeah, what I'll say about it, I'll just say about Lilo and Stitch real quick. Had of course great leads with Lilo and Stitch, their bond of friendship there. It was one of the more realistic Disney movies compared to what we've had before. Now, as for the whole, well, it's got aliens in it. Well, aliens could be real. You never know. So that was fine, me there. And it has kind of two stories in one, where you have the focus on the human element and the space element. So it's like a bit of both for both worlds. To be fair, though, I know a lot of female audience prefer Stitch than Lilo, which is weird, but okay. Go on, yeah. And, you know, there is no real bad guy. There are antagonistic characters in this movie, but each character has their own motivation. Bubbles just is doing his job. Captain Gantu doing his job. Jumbo Jukiba just doing it to get out of jail. Everyone's motivation is just for their own ends. You know what I mean? So there isn't really a bad guy in this.
Out of those characters, which one would you say is more of the villain, though? Like, if we had to pick one.
If we had to, I'd say Jumbo because his motivations are selfish.
Yeah, compared to the others, yeah, I agree. But from someone that found humor out of Jumbo and Pleakley, I need to say Captain Cantu.
Well, yeah, because he was putting a human in danger. That's why he got fired in order to get his job done. But it was for the greater good.
Now I believe he works for something that looks like a mole or a rabbit. Is that right?
Well, he does throughout the sequel movies, the series, until the final movie where he rebels against his boss and then becomes a good guy. Okay. And then the series ends. At least that's a good thing. The whole franchise has a beginning, middle, and end. Unlike other franchises who don't end, they just keep going. This Lilo and Stitch's franchise actually has an actual end. They know when to stop.
Yay!
Which is something other franchises need to learn. I don't think you've seen any of the sequels of Lilo and Stitch, have you? No, yeah. The setup there is that, of course, Stitch is experiment 626, which means Jumbo's made another 625, and their job is to gotta catch him up.
I haven't seen the cartoon. Well, I've seen a couple episodes of the TV show where that has been mentioned. I have seen the sequel where Stitch has a glitch, but I haven't seen Leroy and Stitch.
Or Stitch the movie.
Or Stitch movie, no.
The Stitch the movie is the pilot to that series. Then it's the series. Then, no, take that back. It's Lilo and Stitch 1. Then Lilo and Stitch 2, which Stitch has a glitch. Then Stitch the movie. Then the series. Then Leroy. There you go.
Got it.
Anyway, though, about Emperor's New Groove now. Great movie. Very funny movie, which is why it's on this list. Every minute you're watching, there's always 1 minute you're laughing, and something else comes along to make you laugh harder. And I think what makes the comedy work, I think the funniest scene for me in this movie was the scene on the bridge, where they're still arguing, despite the fact they're in this situation of danger. And they're like, why the hell did I spare a selfish brat like you? I could have left. I always thought it was good in everyone. And you put me wrong. That feels really bad. Good mama. Just stop bickering and work together. You're going to get yourselves killed. It's just petty. It's a petty friendship. And it's only until the diner scene. Okay, as much as I BS on the diner scene, there's one thing I'll give you. it's where Cusco starts to flip and change and see where Potch is coming from here. So there's that I'll give you. Overall, a fun movie. Even the core, all four of the characters have an arc. Well, the villain, take it back. Ethan doesn't really have an arc. She's just there for the punch. She's there for the punchline. Kronk's arc is to rebel against his evil boss. Potch's arc is to teach Cusco right from wrong, and well, Cusco's arc is to accept that. And there you go. Yzma's just there for the punchline, but she's a good punchline.
I believe Yzma's arc is to literally claim the throne as her own, so then she could take over as the ruler. But in order to do that, she needs to ensure that Cusco is dead. Hence why they went out on that mission to kill Cusco, which backfired very badly, but led into a very hilarious chase scene and a confusing one at that.
Fun movie. But yeah, again, if I forgot about Lynn Stitch, again, I would have put it probably at this spot. But regardless, Emperor's New Groove, also a fun movie as well. So also, it would say it's a tight spot for me there. But yeah, moving on.
I'm glad you included it on that list as well.
What, Emperor's New Groove or Lilo and Stitch?
Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, okay. So you're happy that I forgot about Lilo and Stitch?
No, I'm not happy you forgot about Lilo and Stitch. I'm happy that you actually had Emperor's New Groove on your list. So
okay. Moving on.
Insert name here asks, will you rank Disney Channel and Disney XD TV show villains?
I wouldn't say so, because I haven't watched any of those Disney shows or anything like that.
And the only one that comes to my mind is Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb, and that's it.
Is that a good show?
It is a great show. Insert name here asks, what is the most fun Hitman map in the entire trilogy?
Do you know anything about that? Because I'm clueless.
I know nothing about Hitman.
There we go then.
The usual YouTuber asks, what is something you hated before but now grown to kind of like? For me, it's Brother Bear, easily. I originally thought it was boring, but now I absolutely love the movie.
Well, I ask yourself, when did you watch it the first time? When did you realize you changed your opinion on it?
The first time I watched it was when I was 5 or 6, and I watched it a few times since then. It's not until a couple months ago when I started appreciating it.
Okay. Right, then I'm just get my shot up. I'm ready.
What about you? What is something that you hated but grown to kind of like?
As in a movie?
Yeah.
A movie that Ratatouille comes to mind. Didn't really get it, but it's grown on me.
Okay. Usual YouTuber adds on by saying, I literally laughed when Lucas made that.
Or how about the movie that I'm about to reveal? Like, that's also a good one. And my second spot is also another movie I didn't really care for, but now I had another. So my number 2 spot is also that type of scenario. Carry on.
Okay. I literally laughed when Lucas made that David impression, not negative. It was kind of funny.
What impression?
The impression you made of David when we were talking about Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, okay. I'll have to watch the footage because I didn't really get it. Okay.
The usual YouTuber says, I really agree with everything you guys are saying. You guys deserve more subscribers. Thank you. Then you have...
okay. I've already got 3,000.
You guys... Okay, stop showing off. You guys make videos of stuff I'm actually interested in, like B-Squares, Disney, and Pokemon. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
The link to the thing too. Don't mind it. Oh, thank you.
For this next comment, I apologize if I butcher your name. Paul Ijazak? Ejazak? Whatever. What show is better, Gotham or Daredevil? I haven't seen them.
I've seen both of them, and I would Are you more of a Batman fan? Are you a DC or a Marvel fan?
Marvel.
Well, watch Daredevil. If you like Batman, Gotham is my favorite. In my opinion, I like Gotham as the best superhero show thingy. But that's my thoughts. Here it goes.
Okay. Well,
when you're ready.
I got my number 7 up now.
Okay. Let me check my notes one more time. Yeah, I'm right.
3,
go.
2, 1, go. Oh God.
I can't even see.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Zootopia. Yeah. I don't mind that movie. Who's going first?
It is you now, I believe.
Now, you probably saw Bug's Life coming on this list, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I definitely did see Bug's Life coming.
You didn't. Come on. What the?
No, I did.
Adam. Okay, you did.
I
So,
on...
I like it more than that, man. It's an underrated Disney gem. It's overshadowed by Toy Story because when how did Sneaky Pete put it? Once the Toy Story went up, people forget about Bug's Life. And that's the thing here. So, Bug's Life is a great movie, underrated. It's got that message of being is it like, I forgot what the word is. Is it democracy? No, it's not democracy, isn't it? But yeah, where like society is being overthrown by a dictatorship. So they've got to figure out.
I think that's your word there, dictatorship.
Something like that. Well, I think it's a great movie. The score, this movie is one of those few Disney movies that doesn't have a song, any songs in it. Okay, unless you count Randy Newman's song in the end credits. But not counting that, there is literally no song in this movie, and it still works. It's just the score alone, because it takes itself very seriously and simplistically. And I can see what John Lasseter, the creator of Toy Story and now Bug's Life, was doing here. He was trying to tell a more mature, well, Toy Story was mature. It's like he took simple concepts but made them for the modern day audience, and he took them very seriously, so that they were for both the kids and for the adults. He did a great job doing that until he had his bit of a downside and later on down the road. But still, he had good movies. This was one of them, one of his best works. From the main character alone, which I've already explained a lot about Bug's Life in my Disney villain perspective, both on the villain and the hero, but they're both good opposites and would false one another about the whole seed thing, which we've already established. And of course, you have the colony, and the colony is just scared. They don't know how to respond, but Flick is a character who shows them how to respond, because he eventually grows and grows to eventually stand up to Hopper, and he doesn't care that he's hurt. He doesn't care if he gets killed. What's important to him is that the message is said before he passes, so that the ants can at least take this into account, so they can realize this upbringing and stand up to him in the future. And luckily, they do straight away, otherwise he's going to die. But yeah, even the circus bugs are recognizable, because you've got some unique concepts there. You've got the rhino beetle with a dumb personality. That's a needs to change. Rosie the spider, who's actually also in Zootopia, both played by Bonnie Hunt. She also played the rabbit in that movie, so that's ironic. Oh. And then you've had, of course, the two little, I don't know what those little beetle things are. They're like, I can't know. They're the two little weird beetle thingies, which are basically a rip-up before the Minions came out. And then you've got the wise mantis, who thinks he's so full of himself, like Mr. Copper from, And then, of course, you have Gypsy, the femme fatale, who's just there to be I'm the token woman here. Yeah, I'm good. And then, of course, we have, the cliche of the German caterpillar with the thick accent. Finally, I will be a beautiful butterfly. And then, of course, we have Dennis Leary as a ladybird, which is his... Need I say more than that joke?
I feel like Danny DeVito would have worked for the ladybird as well.
It would have, probably would. So overall, a fun cast of characters. And, of course, we have the stick insect, and his joke is, I'm the stick. He takes it seriously. But yeah, you've got a fun group of cast, both from the ants and the circus bugs as well. There is that liar reveal story, but I felt like it doesn't. That's the one thing I don't get about this movie. It's like, just because there was a lie, you still have the bird. I don't see how it ruins your plan in any way. You still have something to use against them. But no, they're like, because you lied, out you go, and you bugs were never here. Back to and you've already knocked some leaves off the tree, and you've already eaten some of the food, and you don't have much food left for the grasshopper, so you must go with the plan anyway. But aside from those flaws, I still enjoy the movie because its strengths outdoes its cons. Its hero, its villain, its characters, and its plot, aside from the plot holes, outdo the cons. So that's why Bug's Life and, of course, the soundtrack outdo it. I also like the finale, too, because it pays off everything really well. The villain gets defeated, the ranking of the crowns gets passed on, and it ends on that great score nicely.
I need to add on about the Bug's Life before I move on to Zootopia. And something I like about it is that it's very subtle with the love story between Princess Atta and
that
Flynn.
too. Because a lot of other,
it's not very obvious about it. It's just very subtle, and Tuck and Roll just nudge flick like aye, yeah, like every guy does. So that makes Tuck and Roll relatable then. And also the Rhino Beetle. I don't know if you remember his name, but I believe his name is Dim. Yeah.
You know who's not likable is P.T. Flay. He's just there for plot relevance.
Yeah, but John Ratzenberger, he's a good luck.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like him better as Mac the Truck, though. What's the thing I was going to say? Again, I agree with you there on the love stuff. It was nicely, subtly done. And, of course, more time could have passed to show the progression of the love, like Tarzan was.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, moving on. Zootopia. Or Zootropolis if you live in other places.
I prefer Zootopia, though.
Yeah, I prefer Zootopia as well. Pretty much everything about this movie is amazing. There are my little nitpicks I have with this movie, but they're not major nitpicks. So we'll get the negative stuff out of the way and then end on the positive note for this film. Negative stuff is, it was mentioned at the beginning that Zootopia is divided into 12 different sectors, I believe.
Okay.
Kind of like the districts of Panem in Hunger Games, apart from...
you couldn't help yourself. You had to make a Hunger Games reference.
Actually, they are districts. They're actually called districts as well. The Rainforest Districts and all that. And something that I would have loved to see is that even on a wide view of the entire city, I would have loved to actually be able to pinpoint all these districts and be able to tell what each of them may be. Or maybe just go past them when Judy was riding in on the train going into Zootopia. But no, we don't get that. We get the desert districts, the Arctic district, the Rainforest district, and the actual city. We probably get another districts as well, but that's 5 or 4 out of 12. Kind of disappointed in my opinion, as I really want to see more. And if this movie got a sequel, yes, chances are it'll be terrible. But hopefully it'll expand on Zootopia as the city, because I would love to know what the other districts would be. But other than that, there's not really much else to say about the negatives here. Positives, has a good twisted villain.
Really?
Not the best. It's a good twist villain. It's one.
I mean, as soon as you know that the sheep are the henchmen, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I didn't put that piece together. What made me realize that Assistant Mayor Bellwether is the villain is the fact that she just turned up where Judy happened to be. That's where I was like, oh, okay, she's a villain. Got it. The whole plot of making the predators go savage. That's not the first time I put savages in quotes as well.
Pocahontas, hello.
Yeah. It made the predators go savage. Just to make segregation a thing again is linking back to the 1960s. A lot for real life for us, and even though that's a mature subject to focus on, it did it in a very good, childish, fun way, but also stick into the mature vibes about it. The two main characters, Nick and Judy, they contrast very well together and make a lot of great scenes. Other characters which make a very good scene are Officer Clawhauser, Chief Bogo. Yeah, just those two. I can't think of any others. The Weasel. I don't. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll count the Weasel. I like that
The
he
Mouse
has a.
Godfather.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. The Mouse Godfather. Great. The Weasel. The only thing I like about him is that he had movie rip-offs of other Disney movies. That's quite good.
And foreshadowing movies.
Yeah. That generally made me laugh. Also, who could forget Flash? Come on, Flash.
Apparently
Flash,
you, because it took you a while to get it in there.
Flash is the best. There was something else I wanted to say about this movie. Like with what you said about Treasure Planet, the visuals are stunning, and it is very well detailed as well, with tiny little details. Small car for the small animals, big car for the big animals, small, medium, and large doors for everything, trains, doorways, even the little hamster tubes for when gerbils or hamsters come out for in their little business suits, and the change of Nick from a he's not really
Con Man.
not really, yeah, con man. That's a good word for it. To a police officer towards the end, that I think went really well. There's so many things about this film which went really well for me, and it just clicks and was like, this is a great movie. It's gonna be one of the best Disney movies in my opinion to me. It was at one point number one, then I rewatched a ton of other movies and now it's number 7.
We know what they say, try everything.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I try to stay away from because I knew I had to mention the soundtrack. It's a great soundtrack.
We know there's only one song, and it's all the score.
Yeah, who could say no to Shakira though?
The people who aren't fans of her. There you go.
Enough. Okay, moving on. Number 6.
Check the chat.
Oh yeah. Chat's a thing. Kaio says, "Hey, I'm back. Welcome back."
All right,
Kaio also says, "Calendar Man was in the Suicide Squad movie."
Oh, I didn't mention this about A Bug's Life real quick, but I should also point it out. The friendship between Flick and Dot was also really well handled in the movie. It was one of the core elements.
Yes. Okay. Insert name here. Just gonna say with your question here. What is the most fun Hitman map in the entire trilogy? Me and Lucas don't know what Hitman is. Yeah, so we can't that, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
Well, I got my thumbnail up for the next one.
Yeah, I got number 6 up as well. Now,
right.
this one I know you're not going to have on your list.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, and yeah, Coco, we would have done that. Pirates.
Pirates of the Caribbean and Coco. Right, so it's my turn to talk first, and so Coco. Okay, let me get.
I have seen it, so there is. Don't bother spoiling it for me because I know the twists and stuff.
Okay, let me get the first thing I need to say about Coco out of the way first. The visuals in the real world and the what's it called? The afterworld? I don't know.
Spirit
What
World?
is that? No, it's not Spirit World. That's Kung Fu Panda. The World of the Dead. The World of the Dead. Both those worlds, incredible visuals. And if I was to pick any Disney movie which has the best visuals, it'll be Coco.
If you like that concept.
Even though you don't really care for that movie, you need to agree it's a good contender for great visuals.
I suppose.
Yeah, okay, you suppose then. Okay, that's close enough. That's the best I'm going to get. I like that the plot is based around the Day of the Dead festival, which is a Mexican tradition and Spanish tradition, actually, which has the living relatives honor a day of their ancestors who have moved on to the afterlife, which, in the way I described it, doesn't sound that important, but is a great plot, really, and a great topic to base it all off. With the with the old grandmother who doesn't remember much and is slowly forgetting her father, with the father just starting to fade out of the land of the dead. Very emotional, and Miguel just wanting to follow his passion, but having his whole family say no to it, apart from the old grandmother who can't remember much because she doesn't talk. But he still pursues it anyway, believes that the villain is his great grandfather, but really isn't.
Was that a twist you saw coming?
It actually was.
You saw it coming?
Yeah, because I kind of felt like Miguel and Hector kind of had seemed very similar to each other, but I can't really put my finger on what made me think they are alike. And then the twist came, and it turned out that they were related. I was like, that explains so much. And also the whole story as a whole, Dante the dog is brilliant. I need.
Well,
to
he's better than Hey Hey the chicken.
Dante is better than Hey Hey the chicken. And I have seen Moana, so I can mention Hey Hey. Plot twist wasn't in Moana. Oh, okay. Hey Hey was in Moana, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not really good at my Disney movies. Other characters I need to mention are, I'm going to put all of Miguel's family in as one, the dead ones and the alive ones. They all have little two-dimensional characters, but they all have the same thought process of no music, no music, no music.
How would you feel about that?
Apart from Coco herself, that's the great grandmother. There's not really much else to say about this movie. I just love the soundtrack, the visuals, and the story as a whole, and the twist was done very well. And the villain, Ernesto de la Cruz, got his comeuppance by being defeated in the same way he died, which was foreshadowing and also dramatic irony put into one, which is very well put together, in my opinion.
So in real life, he died by the bell, and then he got undeadly killed. Well, killed in quotes by the bell.
Yes. Now, there's one thing I need to say about this. If there's one negative thing I need to say about this film, is the fact that at some points the pacing can go a bit slow, which can chuck a few people off, especially at the beginning. But if people watching this are patient, they can, and just wait until Miguel strums the guitar, you enter a world that is completely imagined, obviously, completely original, nothing really linking to the real world at all. It's just very well put together and very well designed. And if Pixar makes a sequel to this movie, I will be really, really upset. Because Coco is one of those movies that does not need a sequel. It's perfect the way it is.
Okay.
So, I'm done with my number 6. Your number 6, which was...
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean, yes.
Which is another movie Adam has not seen, as he knows, but from what he's heard of the villain, it's another one of those, okay, this is breaking its mold again. But yeah, this was based on a ride on Disneyland, and as you can tell, it's a great movie. This is probably Johnny Depp's best role he's had in live action, until he eventually lost that role when he broke some rules that for like future movies, and then he's out of the movie, so hopefully he can come back in. That'd be nice, but if not, I guess the story would focus more on Will again. But yeah, so obviously, great. You've got Johnny. Now, the interesting thing about this movie is, like, it's another one of these movies where it's hard to figure out who the main character is. It's either Will or it's either Jack. And it is hard to say because the villain is related to Jack. Jack's whole arc is he wants to get back at his first mate for backstabbing him. And Will's arc is accepting that his father was a pirate. and that, hey, you're not much different to us, you know what I mean? So they both have their own character arcs, and they both bounce off each other pretty fairly well. And their crew they go off finding a crew to rescue Elizabeth, who's been captured by Barbossa because of something that happens into the plot. Because like, why would you take Elizabeth now? Apart from the appeal, the reason there's more than, oh, let's take her because she's pretty. And no, it's not. And it's not. And they don't take her because she's rich. I mean, they take her because of quote unquote plot reasons, which I don't explain. But it makes sense when you watch the movie. And then it goes on throughout this big chase from back and forth between the heroes and the villains' perspectives, and the score booms up as well throughout. And then, of course, the forces collide and they fight for what they want. And then Will makes his presence known, and then some plot relevance goes on. It's just it's one of those epic grand movies. You can feel the weight of it, like what can I compare it to? That's an epic grand movie. Oh, like the 1999 Mummy or Predator or Aliens, something big like that. Yeah, those big grand movies that come to mind. Oh, yeah, overall fun ride, has a good, and the finale bit takes advantage of the full soundtrack from that big epic score from the big pirate fight. Overall, a great, phenomenal piece, and the ending to all the character arcs ends pretty well timed. So overall, I can't diss this movie any less. And look at this! This stream is nearly 2 hours long, and we're already at 4. We are number 6. Wow. So I'm going to wrap it up here for Pirates of the Caribbean, a great movie, and you can easily see why. Well, maybe Adam can't, but when he sees the movie, he will understand why.
You mean if I see the movie, not when I see the movie?
No, it's when, because I know you're going to give every movie a chance.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like I had to do that. So I can't really add anything on to this movie that I like about it because I haven't seen the movie
yet.
But stop. But with what you're saying about this has been Johnny Depp's best role, for me, Johnny Depp's best role, no, it's not Charlie in Chocolate Factory. It's actually Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces of that movie.
I personally think Edward Scissorhands is a great movie, and Johnny Depp did phenomenal in that movie. But that's not the topic of this video, so I can't talk about it anymore. But yeah, I got my 5th place ready when you are. Oh yeah, comments.
All right, I need to type in. How's the chat?
Tayo says my 2 favorite movies. So is that the ones that we were just talking about, or is that? So. Or is that the ones that you mentioned previously in the chat? Whichever way, great choices. Jack Griffin says, I like when Barbossa reveals that him and his crew are skeletons. Lucas mentioned that in the villain ranking, so not really a spoiler, but yeah, okay. He also says, I also like how at the end Barbossa gets what he wants, but it causes the audience to think he died. And the last one from Jack Griffin, Jack Sparrow is cool. Okay.
Well, that's not a sin. I mean, we all already know that. All right, moving on to the next one on the list. We're at number 5.
Okay. 5th place is, for me, here. 3, 2, 1, go.
Atlantis. And Adam, your light is so bright God can see. Is that Lion? It is Lion King.
Yes, this is Lion King. There we are.
Oh yeah, everyone expected you to have this movie, so it's not really a surprise on your.
Did you expect it at 5th place, or did you expect it higher?
5th place is okay. Considering I've already seen your ranking on the Golden Renaissance and how that will turn out, it's all right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's your turn to talk about Atlantis. So, do you want me to step past the room so you don't give any spoilers away?
Well, apart from the villain thing, there isn't really any spoiler-related thing anyway. But yeah, so movie is overall a good movie. This is a non-spoiler talk about the movie for Adam's sake, because I know he wants to give a good shot on this one as well. This is one of those movies where it's one of those few movies where they try to break the Disney formula, where they try to make a movie, instead of a traditional princess thing, even though there's a princess in it, they try to make it more themed on Indiana Jones, or like Journey to the Center of the Earth, a type of action adventure flick. and it shows the effort went into it. They even had shirts saying "less songs, more explosions," which is nice. I appreciate. It is good to see Disney break its mold. They don't always have to be a musical, a fun fan. There's literally no songs at all, unless you don't count the end credits, which is Mia's song, by the way, which doesn't really do that much. There's literally just the score to work with. It's nice to see them taking a mature approach this. They even brought back actors from good films back from the 70s or 60s, something like that. They had James Gardner do Rourke. They had Leonard Nimoy, who was known for Star Trek, to do the King. Claudia Christian was the lieutenant. They had Michael J. Fox before he got his illness. Again, they had some big roles. They even had what's his name? Come on, it's the guy who voices Slinky before he passed. This was his final role, Slinky the dog from Toy Story. His final role was in this movie.
I did not even know the actor for Slinky died. Oh, now I'm upset now.
He was replaced in Toy Story 3 and 4.
I'm now upset now.
Sorry. Well, I had to tell the truth. You didn't know that was a replacement in 3 and 4?
No.
Well, damn good look-alike, eh? Or sound alike. But yeah, overall great cast. What else is there? There is a lot of characters throughout this movie that are very relatable due to the fact it's a more realistic movie, and they've even got that guy from Casper, who's like dumb, but he's that fun dumb kind of way, and you'll see that when we get to that movie. And they had this, they had another guy in there, which I can't remember his name, but he was another likable character. He was another elderly guy, helped him out. But overall, it had a big cast and a big adventure. And the fact that part of this movie is from Atlantis, and then the other half is when they get to Atlantis. So it's nice. You get to see the journey, and characters do die in this movie. So it is a progressive, there is stakes in this movie, and you do feel the danger. So overall, the adventure and the journey is a good one. And of course, when the things get heated, it gets really exciting and engaging. So overall, Atlantis, for being a unique piece, I'd say it deserves this number 5 spot on my list.
Okay. First of all, I also can't say anything about Atlantis because I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to say second. Thank you for saying that it was 5th place because I generally forgot what movie we were talking about now. I generally forgot what place we were at. But no. At 5th, we're talking about Lion King now. So, what has been said about Lion King that's not already been said? Nothing. Nothing has not been said that I cannot re-mention. The opening credits is, of course, the most recognizable thing of any Disney movie.
Second would be the opening of Hunchback, I would say. Oh, and Bug's Life would be a great and iconic intro. And Aladdin.
Okay, yes, Aladdin, Toy Story, every other Disney movie. Yeah, sure, apart from one. We're not going to say which one because I do not want to make enemies today. They all have opening credits, but in my opinion, Lion King is the most iconic.
Go out to Jim Varney, who voiced Slinky. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay. Lion King has the most iconic opening credits. It pans out to all the animals making their way to Pride Rock to see the... Is it demonstration? What was it Mufasa said to Scar about it? Was it... I think it was demonstration of Simba or reveal of Simba. I don't know what the words were.
Presentation? Wouldn't it be a presentation?
Yes, it was presentation. Ow, I just poked myself in the eye.
Instant Mega Man joke. There's one thing that you don't have. What's that? Presentation!
Simba's presentation. Or is it Rafiki? I don't. But yeah, that whole opening clip is incredible, and sometimes I just watch the movie just for that scene.
Shame.
What do you mean by shame? Yeah, I watched.
I mean, the whole movie is awesome. You're just gonna watch it for that one scene?
Oh, of course not. I'll watch it for the entire movie. The entire movie is great. The lighting, the visuals, the whole story, the Macbeth and Hamlet vibe. Scar, Mufasa, Simba, Timon, Pumbaa, Scar again.
Why are you saying Scar twice?
Because he's amazing.
Oh, we've already established this in the villain ranking. Move on.
Shenzi, Bonsai, and Ed. They're great henchmen. Technically not henchmen though, because they just been recruited by Scar just to kill someone, just so they could get more
That's
food.
another thing. The only reason they follow him, even though they outnumber him in army, is the fact that they're scared of him, like Hopper was.
Pretty much, I would say so. And then the three main ones stand up to him, and they all technically stand up to him, but they don't.
And pull a Bug's Life.
Yeah, but they don't stand up to him; they kill him. What else to say about the soundtrack? As you said, is incredible. In my opinion, one of, if not the best soundtrack of any movie there is.
And of course, we haven't. There is one scene we haven't talked about, but I think I'll let Adam say this for you. The Stampede sequence.
I knew you were going to mention that scene, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was actually about to forget about it. That scene is the most adrenaline pumping and the most emotional scene in any Disney movie there is.
Which is why it was reused in that footage for Mulan in the avalanche scene with the army.
It just didn't reach the potential that Lion King made for it.
No, because the soundtrack for that. Now, to be fair, Mulan had Jeremy Goldsmith, which is the best composer of all time. But that's no topic.
The adrenaline pumping that came from this was Simba trying to avoid the stampede, Mufasa going in to save Simba, gets into safety. Then the emotional scene kicks in where Mufasa gets knocked down by the stampede. He climbs back up the wall, only to have the iconic lines from Scar be etched into being the last thing said to Mufasa. And I'm not going to say these lines because I'm hoping Lucas edits this line in for the movie.
Yeah, if I do edit clips in, I hope that means I can. Whatever. I'll say this off camera.
Yeah. Hopefully the line does get edited in. If not, long live the king. Not said in that way. They're more.
That's what I don't really get. I'm guessing there's supposed to be sarcasm there because isn't "Long Live the King" supposed to be "Let the King live on," or is that supposed to be a talk? Is that Scar talking to himself?
It's the way that it's the way he said it. Just sounding like "Long live the king" can either sound like yes, live on for long, like how we say in the British national anthem, saying "Long live our queen." She took that literally, clearly. I had to.
She's still alive.
But in other ways, Scar was saying it in a way of going like, "Your time is done, my time begins. Long live me." That's another way to take it. And that's the way. That's the impression I got of it as a kid. How did I go this far to talk about Lion King and not mention "Be Prepared"? Oops.
Well, because we're not talking about the song this time. Even though throughout the multiple rankings, you can still talk about "Be Prepared," even though we're not doing the. Okay.
I'm gonna hold myself in. I'll save what I have to say about that song for the Disney song ranking.
Even I like "Be Prepared," but you don't see me jumping for joy about it.
You mentioned it in when you talked about Lion King when I brought it up in conversation. Moving on. The whole scene with Simba, Timon, and Pumbaa in the jungle paradise, I'm going to call it. It's good, bit short-lived, but that's good because it just leaves space for more important stuff to happen. And of course, has the most iconic scene. Well, not the most iconic, but one of the most iconic scenes in that movie, which is Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba walking along that log throughout the course of the day, showing how many years gone past, with Simba just growing to be.
There are two other things we should have mentioned in this movie, and that is Rafiki's whole thing of hitting on the head and the ghost scene.
The ghost scene is another emotional scene, not as emotional as Mufasa's death.
That's
but be honest, it's not. But it has.
I'd rather watch him die than see his ghost.
But it has an emotional impact, which influenced Simba to go back to Pride Rock and claim his title as the king. Rafiki just hitting animals on the head. I don't really have anything to say about that apart from it was funny the
The
first
message.
time. Yeah,
It's the message
not
of the movie. The past can hurt, but the iPhone is to run from it or learn from it.
right.
That's the message of the movie. So it does matter, Adam.
Okay, so it does matter, but like I said, it was funny the first time, then it meant something the second time. Then, other than that, I think that's really all I need to say about that movie, and I'm not going to mention anything else about Scar because I need to save that for another ranking.
Yes,
But
so
yeah,
I hope you all be prepared for that.
so funny, aren't you? Okay.
Wow. Adam says, Jack says, have you seen The Lion Guard?
No, I have not, and I do not plan to.
It's a kiddie show on Disney Plus. Not, it's on Disney Plus.
The reason why I don't want to is because they, I believe they ruined Kiara, who was in Lion King 2.
Yeah, they kind of alter some things, saying, "Oh, well, Simba had 2 children," and they kind of alter Scar a bit.
Yeah, so I do not plan to watch it because they changed Kiara, and I rather remember Kiara the way she was in Lion King 2.
Yeah, stupid and naive.
But also rebellious as well.
Like her,
okay.
like father, like daughter.
Yeah, so 4th place now.
Oh, yeah. Where's my shot at? Aha, number 4. Oh yeah, that movie. We're getting close to the. Well, was it tough doing this ranking when it came to every single movie in canon?
When it came to the top 5, that was when I struggled the most.
I remember when I was 6 years old. I think I was 6 years old when I saw a poster of Lilo and Stitch and coming soon to cinemas. I remember that. That's how old I think I was around that time.
I remember when I was watching Coco. I saw a poster of The Incredibles 2. That's a Pixar Easter egg there. So
ready to reveal.
Yeah. Number 4, 4th place in 3, 2.
Wait, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. My image changed.
Why do you ask me if I'm ready? You're not ready.
I was until my phone said, "Man, we're gonna fuck you over."
What the hell, man?
Okay. You can stay? Are you gonna stay? Good. Okay, I'm staying.
Okay, you ready?
Anytime now.
Are you absolutely sure?
Just get on with it.
3, 2, 1, go.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yes, we finally got a match.
Okay, I thought you were doing it because of a joke. Because you mentioned it was 2, and I thought that was either an ironic joke or something else.
It was a joke. I promise you it was a joke.
So you know I had it at 4?
Yeah.
Or you had a suspicion?
I didn't know it was at 4. I thought it would be higher. Oh, I'm actually really happy we finally got a match now.
So, since we're both talking about it at the same time, doesn't really matter who goes first.
We can end this stream right now and I'll be happy because we got a match.
We gotta finish this.
Fine. Yes, Mom. Okay, fine.
All right, don't you make an Impus joke.
Do you want to go first or shall I?
I don't know if that Impus joke was intentional or not, but you probably was. Moving on.
Do you want to go first or shall I?
Let's see. There are 4 members of the family. We'll have one person. I'll take Mrs. Incredible and Dash, and you get the other 2.
Violet and Bob.
Yeah, that way we both have a minor character and we both have an important character.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
Which character do you want to talk about first? Seeing as this is Mr. Incredible's movie, you might as well go first.
Okay, then let's go with Mr. Incredible. So, I'm actually really glad you're getting Mr. Incredible now. Because I think I know why he gave it to me, because I quoted him a few times in the Links to series.
Well, I only went with Mrs. Incredible. She's my favorite member of the family. Okay.
Fine then. I still take Mr. Incredible any day. So Mr. Incredible, or Bob. I'm going to call him Bob.
Bob the Builder?
Yes. Or Bob Parr, whatever. Okay, first of all, he is he has his flaws. but that is what I like most about him, because his main ability is, of course, his strength, and with great power comes great responsibility, as a wise person called Ben said before he got shot twice. He makes Spider-Man the regular Spider-Man. But with that, he kind of had a bit of arrogance his way as well, or ignorance, whichever one it is, because he feels like he can do stuff on his own. Hence why his phrase, what he said to Incrediboy, or Syndrome, we'll talk about him later, by the way, because I know you forgot about him. Maybe you didn't, I don't know.
Excuse me? He was in my Disney villain ranking.
Yeah, he was number 2.
Yeah, there was a good reason for it.
Yeah, because the Horned King is more intimidating.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. What was I going to say? But with that phrase of "I work alone," it came with arrogance and ignorance of him believing he can do everything by himself.
But and in a way, Bob made his own villain.
Yeah, and that is what I love about his final phase of that movie, where he learned he had to work with Frozone, Elastigirl, Dash, and Violet to beat the Omnidroid and also defeat Syndrome without the help of Frozone, because he wasn't.
Even though he's already beaten the Omnidroid by himself before.
Yes, but it wasn't until after so many attacks or attempts have been made on that to where he realized he can't beat it. He needs to use something against it, which was itself against it. And also, when I rewatched The Incredibles, I noticed what you meant about the orangey red eye thing for the Omnidroid. I just noticed that myself. So thank you for pointing
You
out.
learned something new from every rewatch.
It's been ages since I watched it. Actually, no, it's been like last week. I tell a lie, clearly. But the fact he learns a lesson throughout the final fights just shows how much he's grown. And before the whole action start, we have this whole down-to-earth superheroes trying to blend into the modern world vibe. And it shows Bob is just really bored about this regular lifestyle because he doesn't want to live this way because it's too normal for him. What are you waiting for? I don't know. Something amazing, I guess.
Linksy series quote.
Yes, I'm quoting my own character now. Because it's a brilliant line. Because he wants something interesting to happen, or as the kid said, something amazing.
And something incredible.
Yes, and he got that. He got something incredible, something amazing. An adventure on an island where he faces someone that he turned evil. And so much more else where Bob has just grown to become from an arrogant superhero to a more humble one. I think humble's the wrong word for this, but the best word I got for this.
It'll do.
That's all I can really say about Bob. Is there anything else you'd like to add on?
For Bob, I would say he's a well-rounded character. The only flaw of this movie is the fact that it's called The Incredibles, and The Incredibles don't work together until, like, would you say the second or the third act? The first act is where it builds up to Mr. Incredible on the island. The second act is where the family goes to said island, and the third act is where they find the robot at the end.
Okay, I'm gonna say second act. So I count the Incredibles working together as Dash and Violet and Alaska working together, not all four of them working together.
Okay.
And also, if it's not obvious already, we're not talking about Jack Jack. So
Jack Jack, they didn't even know he had powers.
Yeah, not until the second movie. You know, we saw it happen right in front of us. Twice.
Unless you count Jack Jack's attack, but yeah. Overall, Mr. Incredible, he's a flawed character. You can tell his heart's in the right place, but it's the way society, like Megamind, if you've ever seen the movie, society has put him in a box and tell him what he has to be in order to keep a low profile to stop things from happening. And he has to play by the rules, or he has to keep being relocated every time. Which I'm wondering, why doesn't he? if they have to keep relocating his family, I'm surprised their name doesn't keep getting changed. Because wouldn't that be priority number one to change their name? But no, we have memory erasing technology, so we can erase every person you've talked to and erase their memory. Then why don't? That's just okay.
I will say it's a good thing you mentioned you linked it to Megamind because that is something I did forget to mention. But thank you for adding that in.
Which is a marvelous superhero movie. Overall, though, great. As for Opar, I'd say he's a fully rounded character. He has his mistakes, but he learns to accept help from his family, which, even though Syndrome was the villain, Syndrome did teach him some things in a way, like how to accept help from others, that he does need help to do things and all that. And as for the characters I'm going to go off with next, obviously I'm going to talk about Mrs. Incredible, and then we'll go on to Violet, and I'll finish with Dash, who's the smallest. So we're going in the biggest to smallest terms here, okay? All right, then Mrs. Mrs. Incredible, I'd say is now. I should have mentioned about the Incredibles before. Is that each of the creator Brad Bird gave each of them these specific powers because they relate to their type of person's archetype. Mr. Incredible is a strong dad, like how a dad would react starting throwing stuff. So Brad Bird thinks that fathers would throw things, mothers are pulled in different directions, hence why elasticity. Teenagers like to hide. Teenagers are insecure, so they hide themselves. And Dash is a kid, so rebellious young speed.
They've got to go fast.
Man, Mrs. Incredible, easily my favorite member. You can feel where she's coming from, both from concern about where Bob is and thinks she's cheating on him and all that. And it's when she gets involved, I say, is when the movie kicks in. Because what you could say for you, I don't know if you agree with me, but would you say that when Mrs. Incredible gets on the island is when it gets interesting, kicks in for you?
When it gets interesting, I think it's when now this is a bit mean-spirited, but when Mr. Incredible throws his old boss through the walls.
Because really? That's a bit early.
It builds up to him being fired, him talking to the guy that keeps helping him, and then he just dumps a bunch of things away to where he gets another scene from the next series, to where he gets invited to join.
Your character has a lot of links to the Incredibles.
Well, they both have really good strength as well. So
symbolism.
Yeah, but you get what I mean, though. That's when it gets interesting for me, because that's when Mirage gets introduced. That's when the action actually starts happening, excluding the building fire and before the newspaper stuff.
There is a bit of a dark tone, like, hey, I saved your life. You didn't save my life, you ruined my death. Okay. There are some dark topics in this movie. But yeah, this is the first movie where they actually used real guns to on Disney characters, I would imagine. Because like in Lilo and Stitch, they had like their guns weren't like real guns, they were like laser pistols. They looked like water guns, you know what I mean?
They had blasters, didn't they?
Yeah. So it wasn't like very threatening, but since they're real life, realistic looking weapons, then it makes the danger feel more real and stuff like that. And of course, that whole fight sequence through the corridors with Mrs. Incredible there, very good. And I enjoy, of course, it all builds to the final act, which is a great payoff. If you've seen the trailer, you can tell that this was probably Brad Bird's high point of his career, where he did a good job and made a phenomenal superhero movie, which is easily rewatchable. I'd say even better than the sequel, in my personal opinion.
I completely agree. With the Pixar movies as well, I believe The Incredibles also wrapped up the golden age to Pixar, because it went on to the silver age, starting with Cars. And I'm not sure about you, Lucas. I'm not a big fan of Cars, but the golden age was all movies before The Incredibles, and they're all amazing.
Insert name here says, will you ever make a Linksy series video game? That'd be something. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I'm down for it if I could make it.
Yeah, Jack Griffin says, Lucas, the guy who voiced the old Slinky, is Jim Burney. Just to remind you who voiced the guy in Atlantis. I think you already read that part.
Yeah, I did.
Insert name here. I was busy. Please answer my question again. If you're going to rank the Disney XD Disney Channel TV show villains, no, because we don't know enough to actually rank it, and the only one I know is Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Insert name here. Will you do the most powerful and popular villains Disney owns?
Will we?
You do powerful and popular?
I think we've had enough Disney on my mind.
For now anyway. Maybe in the future, but not now.
Now, next character to talk about is Violet. So it's your end.
Yeah, not Violet Beauregard, Violet Parr. Just to get that clear.
I would say she's probably the weakest of the characters.
You could say that, but this is counting her in Incredibles 2. I'm glad you gave me Violet because she's actually my favorite of the family.
Only when 2 comes along, though.
Because including 2, that's more reason for me to think Violet's my favorite. First of all, invisibility. If I got to have any superpower, it would be invisibility and maybe force fields.
Even though speed is cool, okay.
Speed is key. But invisible, if they can't see you, they can't hit you. Simple as. Unless they chuck mud on you while you're underwater, but that's besides the point. How many times do I say that? But that's besides the point. Why? Getting off topic here. So Violet, in my opinion, yeah, like you said, teenager, bit emo, wants to hide themselves, just blend in with everyone else. And it fits in really well because a couple minutes later at the dinner table, she literally says she wants to be normal. And
what is normal?
He's not even toilet trained.
So the normal in the world is a baby. Okay.
Yeah, I think she just doesn't want to have superpowers. She just wants to be a normal girl with a boyfriend who doesn't even know she exists until the end of the movie when she pulls her hair back. No,
symbolism.
Not gonna say that word. Not gonna say those words. I almost said the same line. I just said I say too much.
Symbolism.
Yeah, symbolism. It shows she's more as for shell when she pulls her hair back. And I believe that first time it happened was during the third act, right before the final fight, wasn't it?
After, it's like when she tries to make the force field big enough because she hasn't had the experience. It's like after she has that talk about mum was like, hey, I had too much faith on you and all that. It's not your fault. So when she gets that pep talk from her mom, that's when she puts her hair back.
Yeah. Right.
She takes charge then.
That's when she starts coming out of her shell and she learns to be more independent, but also making sure everyone is safe, especially Dash when he gets a bit
reckless.
I think reckless. I was going to say too confident of his abilities, but that's the wrong word. Off by a landslide, that is, but reckless is the right word. There's something else I want to say about Violet, but that's linking to The Incredibles 2. But that also links to her independence as well and leadership. If there is an Incredibles 3 where it's focused on the children, again, Violet's probably going to show more leadership and independence than she's already have. So it won't change, but it'll just make me like her even more, really.
And that leads to Dash. Right. So, Dash, even though throughout he has more. This is weird for me to say. Like, it's funny because, like, Incredibles 1 is focused more on the men, and Incredibles 2 is focused more on the women. Because both Dash and Mr. Incredible have this thing, like, there's this statement which Dash has with his mom. He says, Dan says our powers ought to be special and all that. And, like, everyone's special, Dash. And then Dash's response is, like, that's like another way of saying no one is. And then later, Syndrome quotes this line is like, when everyone's super, no one will be. Which is true, because if everyone has this... In fact, example, if everyone has super strength, is it really super anymore?
No, it's kind of like now you haven't seen Phineas and Ferb, but there's this episode where Dr. Doofenshmirtz tries to make every building in existence lean to the right. So then Leaning Tower of Pisa will no longer be special, but his building will be, as to be the only one upright. It does make sense, but it's transferring the specialness of the Leaning Tower of Pisa to his own Pisa to his own building, which gives him attention, which is what he really wants. So yeah, I get what you mean when you say everyone being super strong, not super anymore, because it's not special.
And of course, Dash gets the opportunity to learn his powers because he's been told to hold back his powers. But it's only until he gets to the island he's able to see the true potential of his powers. They can run on water and stuff like that. And that we see that he's actually so fast he can actually punch before the enemy can. So it allows him to demonstrate his powers and make them grow. But yeah, pretty cool. Overall, fun family. The only thing we haven't discussed is the villain, but we've already said enough of Syndrome, which is why we aren't talking about it. But briefly, you haven't seen the video. Syndrome is
amazing.
Awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. Do we get to talk about the plot of the story, the visuals, the Omni Droid?
I would say that the score is very James Bond-esque, so it's very good. The Omni Droid is awesome too.
Yeah, the Omni Droid is awesome. The visuals are awesome. The soundtrack's awesome. And
Edna is
the whole movie. Say it with me, Lucas, is incredible.
No cake.
I'm sorry. I'll see myself.
Right then, moving on now to our number 3.
Now, if you match this movie, I'll be.
Check the chat, Adam. How are we doing on the chat? Hello? I think he cut out. Nah, man, we're doing so well. Adam, if you're there, you may want to leave and come back. Anytime now. Alright, so he got my message. I'm assuming he's coming back. So bear with us. Right, next movie. Okay, Adam's lost connection. I'm hoping he's coming back. Adam, I am still on the live stream. We're still waiting on you. Where is Adam? I was not here. Adam just left. I'm hoping he's coming back. Hopefully. Well, you again still. Yeah, we're supposed to be wrapping up. We only have a few spots left. Right. I am still live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just waiting on Adam. I'm probably gonna have to check messages real quick to see if he's coming. Oh, I'll just text him. All right. Oh, wrong one. All right, there we go. Have you seen all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? Yes, I have. I knew something was... Okay, Adam says give him a minute. So we are waiting for him, because I'm wondering if I need to end the stream or not, but he says he needs a minute. Don't worry, guys, I will be doing an edited version, so hopefully that goes up well. Let's see, I already got my image up. But yeah, this was close. My number 3 and number 2 were very close. Because, hi Iggy, which is your favorite? The first one easily. Or Pirates of the Caribbean. Right, we're still waiting on Adam. You're a bit suspicious? Yeah, Adam's just gone because he lost connection, but he'll be back. Hopefully. Once I get a little beep on my live stream, it'll tell me he's here. I just hope he doesn't keep us in the dark too long, because like we still have to wrap this up real quick, and I don't want to keep you guys in the waiting. Because we're already 2 hours in. Don't worry. Adam lagged out. He'll be back. I just hope he doesn't keep us waiting too long. Because again, I don't want this long gap between the unedited version, because I know that's gonna be like, oh, there's this boring padding bit here. Yeah, I do live in the UK. So does Adam. Favorite MCU movie? As of now, the original 4 comes to mind. All right, let's see how Adam's doing. Just texting. Yeah, where's my notes here? Oh, there he is. As soon as I text him, I have a message from him. There we go. There you are, Adam. And as soon as I texted you, you're back.
Sideways, aren't I?
What?
I lost connection. I don't know entirely what happened. I'm sorry that I'm sideways. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I need to quickly leave.
Don't keep us waiting this long, Adam.
Hold on.
There he goes again.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, then
Okay,
he's back. Now, before I say anything else, this is the hardest part for me. Number 3 and 2. Remember when I said there was one movie that I watched recently, which, pew! That is not 3. That would be 2. So, but both, again, like I said, opinions can change, and this is one spot that could easily switch out later on down the road, because there are specific... It's hard. But at the end of the day, as of right now, how I feel, this is what I'm going to go with. So with that being said, I'm ready to reveal number 3. But again, this could easily change on throughout the future.
Okay.
When you're ready, Adam.
So the top 5 can change anytime.
Let me just get my camera proper set up. Wait, I need to set my camera properly up now. I've got my charge. Okay. Yeah. Have you got your image up?
Yeah.
How hard was it for you to choose for 3?
It was really it was really hard for me to choose. But as of now, I am happy with what I chose as number 3. As the
And
other two,
now
I
it's
see.
time for the countdown.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh
wow!
Again.
Okay, Adam. Were you intending to do that, or were you struggling? Why? What was up with Mulan at 3?
I was not intending to do that.
So why?
I don't know, but how did we have 2 matching beasts in back to back as well? No, 2 matching movies back to back as well.
I don't know. Okay, I know why I have it at 3, but I don't understand why you have it at 3.
Or did you think it'd be not on the
Higher.
list or something? Or
I would probably be higher or something, but okay.
Oh, okay, it's number 3. That's quite high, isn't it?
Okay. Who's going first? Or to be fair, does it matter who goes first? Because we're talking about the same thing again.
Yes, it doesn't matter. How are we just taking turns talking about the main characters and then the story and everything else?
Well, since Mulan is the title character, it's pretty obvious what we talk about first.
Yeah, okay.
Or do you want to talk about the plot first?
Yeah, let's talk about the plot.
Off you go then.
Okay, hold on. Just catch it. Okay. Oh, so people did get concerned that I disappeared. Right, got it.
Yeah, I tried to tell you.
Okay. So the plot. Mulan goes off to war in order to defend her father from probably most likely dying. There's no better way of saying it. Biting the dust. I don't know.
Stop censoring death. It's a part of life.
She goes off to war to defend her father and also to find out who she is or what she's on this earth to do or what she's on this earth to be. I do not know really made the turnaround for when she's going from defending her dad to wanting to stay just to be who she is. I think that's after the avalanche scene. That's when the turning point happened for when it changed to when she wanted to stay to why she wants to stay. But the plot goes off to war to fight off the Huns who have invaded China as a challenge. The Great Wall of China was a challenge and ended up making Shan Yu go up in fireworks. That is pretty much the plot, whilst also being guided by a dragon that sounds like a donkey and a cricket that sounds like a cricket.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
Nothing that comes to mind. I know I probably forgot something though.
About the characters or the soundtrack.
Well, let's just talk about the plot at the moment. So.
All right then. Oh yeah, the plot's pretty good. I appreciate this is easily, obviously, no, hands down the best Disney princess because she she qualifies because she outdoes them in what she's doing. She not only is willing to sacrifice her own life to save her father. Now, to be fair, Belle did that too, but she goes beyond that by defeating a whole army by herself because literally the Chinese army didn't really do anything to stop the Huns. If anything, all they did was light the fire to warn China. Apart from that, it was only Mulan who took out the entire Chinese army. And as for the remnants, now a few of the soldiers helped beat the generals. But as for the main villain himself, yeah. So basically, Mulan took out the entire army herself, really. One woman. So, which is the whole thing about this message of that, a woman can't do anything, and Mulan proves that a woman can. Yeah. And the only person who doesn't care is the villain, and it's respectful. And in a way, Shan Yu has respect for Mulan, which he should do, because this person took out your entire army, so you can. And it just shows that Shan Yu is reliant on his army to win. because without his army, he doesn't. His chances of winning are a bit zero now. Well, not so bad, but there's less of a chance of you winning now. You have no army.
Yeah, very low, very low.
Oh yeah. Side characters are great. From can't remember their names. Shinpo is the pacifist. Ling and Yao. Of course, your Sammy Sam type. And then Ling is just there to be the jokester. And then, of course, Eddie Murphy as Mushu. I think he's a more handled role than Donkey because he's not in your face. So that's fine for me. The cricket is just there to be, I'm the cricket, I'm not lucky joke, which gets old to me pretty fast. And the horse is called Khan, which, of course, Adam wants to know. So there you go, Adam. And as for the we've already talked about the villain in previous ranking. Mulan as a lead, great that she is wanting to go and find herself. And I think the highlight of this movie is Reflection for its song piece. And I think even though this character doesn't get much to do, he's not treated as just a plot device, Mulan's father, Fazu, but he actually has some good speeches here and there. And I feel like the high point for the movie is, there's a couple. The Emperor, where for me, one of the highlights of this movie, he says, okay, you're not coming, if you don't want to be part of me because you've been away so long, like, here, take this medallion so that your family will know what you've done for me, and take this so the world will know what you've done. So I appreciate that the Emperor is gonna give her something to say, hey, you defeated this guy and people need to know that. So that's impressive. And then when it gets even more heartwarming, the father has to do with awesome speeches that's like, God damn it, the greatest gift in honor is having you for a god. Yeah, you don't need to find honor. It's like being honor is what you are. Okay, clicky movie. Just did it again. You can't. Disney and your emotional.
Even thinking about that scene, I get goosebumps because it's such an emotional scene. It's just a great ending, and I absolutely love Fazu as a character for just tossing those things aside just because his daughter has returned home.
And what makes it more emotional is the fact that we just came from an emotional scene with the Emperor, and Disney can't help itself. Just 2 in 1 shot.
The downside about that, even though it did make me laugh, it had to be the grandmother just saying, "Oh, sign me up for the next war."
Old woman joke.
Sword. Yeah, but it's still kind of funny, but it kind of ruined the moment, if you get what I'm saying.
Right then, let's get back to the chat, and I think that's all we got to say in Mulan, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Right, insert name here says, will you buy an ASMR mic to spice things up in your collab streams? No.
What's wrong with our mic?
I mean, I'm not buying an ASMR mic because I'm not whispering into the mic and doing all the lip smackings and all that. I honestly hate that kind of stuff. So I don't really want to do stuff I don't like. Insert name here also says, if you want to start a career as a franchise series creator, I'd recommend selling books first, then comics, and maybe later video games.
Okay.
And insert name here adds on saying, I would also recommend using sites such as a tip jar and Patreon to support your work.
Is that for to both of us, isn't it?
I think that's for you.
Yeah, because I need Patreon. To be fair, I don't like making money off my channel because that makes me feel like, I know it's not bad. It's just like, but I'm trying to do it for the people. So like, money's not really my priority.
Okay, I swear to God, if number 2 is going to be the same.
No, I'm 100% sure it's not.
Well, oh, God. I'm hoping number 2 will not be the same.
It's not. Okay. When you're ready. This now, like I said, this for me is the movie where I said there was one movie that skyrocketed after our recent viewing, and this is that movie.
Oh, in that case, it won't be the same. Okay, that's good.
No.
3. Oh, it's because I haven't watched it.
Yeah, just do the countdown.
3, 2, 1. Black Cauldron. No. What? Number 2? Wow.
All right, shame on you. You put tiles in number 2. We're not friends anymore. Why? Okay. Adam, why? How dare you destroy it?
Right. So I think I want to hear about Wreck-It Ralph first. Why is it?
I want to hear about Titan, you mister. How dare you?
Your
You talk
turn.
about.
It's meant to be your turn going first, then it'll be mine then.
Yeah, you better have a dang explanation for this. Because then you've been praising it in the past ranking. Whatever. Anyway, moving on though. So, Wreck-It Ralph. Now, this movie, it was there for me. I never grew such an attachment to this movie until recently. It's basically Toy Story for modern day, for people nowadays, you know what I mean? Where you have basically fictional characters, like the toys, and when the humans aren't around, they do they walk along casually in their world. And I think it's a great movie because like it has a lot of fun elements. The score is really well handled, very charming and cutesy. And you have we get to see how the game world works from Wreck-It Ralph being this Donkey Kong like character, and that how he like this is a movie I can relate with because it's about being judged that you're a bad person. And one of the emotional quotes of the movie is like, if this person sees that I'm a good person, how bad can I be? Which I think we can relate to us, a lot of us. So it really does have that core to us as well. And the fact that you have all those game characters in there, and I appreciate that the movie doesn't like, oh, we've got all these game characters and it's all about these little Easter eggs, but it's not. It's the Easter eggs are there for like the first half. Would you say first 30 minutes? How long would you say?
Yeah. Until it gets into Hero's Duty, that's when the Easter eggs stop as a more. It keeps going, but not as a frenzied pace as it was before.
It is because like it's a nice roller coaster ride. Ralph's trying to be treat respect from the Nicelanders, but of course Gene, aka Discount Mr. Potato, just like Toy Story, there's a dictator with Mr. Potato Head, and he has a mustache. But yeah, so there's of course that we don't like you, but the Nicelanders didn't accept the importance of Ralph because without Ralph, he can't wreck the building and the game can't properly function because like Fix It Felix is supposed to fix something. And if it's already fixed, there's technically nothing to fix for him, defeating the purpose of the game. It's like, it's just fix what? Put the hammer down. Okay. But yeah, so Ralph goes to find a medal because like he believes that if you have a medal, you're a good person, you've done a good deed, and then you can let me stay in the house, which is better than better sleeping than a pile of bricks. So he goes for this emotional journey, being like, Adam, if you were in Ralph's shoes, you would go and find a way to get into that house, wouldn't you?
Well, if I still had my, yeah, I would try and figure out a way to get into that house. But if I still had my brain function, I would not think getting a medal is a way to prove it, because I know you don't need a medal to prove you're a good guy.
But then again, it's Ralph, so it's not really the smartest person in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ralph goes on his little adventure. He does. And then, of course, he comes across Hero's Duty, trying to get a medal from there, but it's a good thing, too, because we can get a nice variety of games. We have 3 main worlds in this game. We have, of course, Wreck-It Ralph's game, which is basically the equivalent of Mario, Donkey Kong-like games. And then, of course, you have Hero's Duty, obviously a ripoff of Halo/Call of Duty. And then, of course, you have Discount Mario Kart with Sugar Rush. So he goes from game 1 to game 2 to get a medal. It backfires, and he gets the cyborg on his ship, which will lead to the cyborg invasion on Sugar Rush, which he crash lands into. And then we get into Vanellope's story, and I feel like this is where the movie, you could say, either drops for you or it gets better for you. Because I know a lot of people like Sugar Rush might be the weakest world, but it's where a lot of the story will take place at. So, for you, for Sugar Rush, how did that go?
If you ask me, Hero's Duty is actually the weakest world for me because it's not like the worlds that I normally play in. I play a lot of racing games. I would like Sugar Rush. It actually is nice. I mentioned it when I was talking about it. Fix It Felix. I play a lot of Mario games. I never play Donkey Kong, admittedly, but yeah, you get my point. I play a lot of Mario games. It gives me that nostalgia towards it. Still no nostalgia to Pokemon yet, but I'm waiting patiently for that.
Indeed.
But
yeah.
Heroes Duty, I don't play a lot of Call of Duty or Halo or Bioshock or whatever shooting game there is. I do not play a lot of them. So I can't really relate to this world as much as I relate to the others.
Fair enough. Overall, though, when he gets to Sugar Rush, it's where things get interesting. He loses his medal, bumps into Vanellope, who has a large involvement in the plot, because you're curious about what she is and how is she glitching like that. But yeah, she goes through it, of course, and gets the medal, tries to get into the race. King Candy, who's another wink to the camera, which Adam knows. But yeah, yes. So now he prevents Vanellope from racing for his own reasons, and of course they go out. Vanellope runs off. Her cart gets destroyed by the races because they've been told by the king that she's not supposed to race. Ralph stands up for her because anyone would in the situation, and of course, they make a deal that if you were in the race, help me win the race, then I'll get your medal back. And they make a pact to make a friendship, and it works out very well because, I know Adam's I know you prefer oh, this doesn't work out well because one's an adult and one's a child. Well, these are game characters, so that
was a joke, just so we're clear.
Okay, then. Well, because these are game characters to me, so their relationship doesn't feel uncomfortable. In Hunchback, it did because it was supposed to take place in a real world, but this is supposed to be a game world, so the rules. But that didn't bother me. Because in fact, Adam just said it was a joke. Now I'm okay with that. But yeah, they make a good pact and the friendship. And when the moment comes where they get a car and when King Candy explains why Vanellope can't race, I'm sure you understand where King Candy was coming from, didn't you, Adam?
Oh yeah, I definitely understood where it was coming from. But after that twist, it just gives the impression he was scared of Penelope winning the race or crossing that line because he knew what was going to happen. He was scared what was about to happen.
Oh yeah, so it obviously builds up to that one sad sequence, but it's these typical sad scenes are in movies, but this sad sequence felt earned from what we've learned so far. How they always we need to put some sort of sad sequence to split them up, like in our Emperor's New Groove, the dining scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt like this was the most handled, and easily, to me, I think this is the best twist villain ever. Because obviously, there are other villains who have subtly revealed that they are the bad guy, like Lotso has kind of subtly given that away. You know what I mean? But I don't think, even though King Candy is an antagonist, he's not revealed as, they mention this thing called Turbo, and we don't know what that is until Felix and Calhoun go there, and that what is this game and what is Turbo basically? Basically, Turbo is a thing where this character goes rogue to someone else's game, but because he's like an 8-byte character into a 16-byte frame, he can't work well with that game, and it causes a glitch crash, and both games are put out of order. We think he's gone, but no, he went back to Game Central Station to wait for the opportunity to fully complex this big plan to take over Sugar Rush. That's right, King Candy is, which to be fair, I think Adam's already discussed this with Turbo when he went over Rick Rell. But yeah. So I think no one saw it coming because everyone was sucked into Vanellope's plot, but they didn't expect Turbo to have any sort of meaning apart from the phrase going turbo, right?
Yeah. And another thing that kind of dragged us away from that whole point is I do not remember her name. Felix and I can't remember her name. The general's
Calhoun?
Their relationship with each other, and especially of Calhoun's backstory and Felix not knowing about that, and then led to a whole bunch of scenarios afterwards, including Sour Bill.
Oh yeah, it does. So overall, I'd say with a great twist villain, which I think is the best twist. Okay, is there any twist villain above this to you that is better than this movie?
It's not a twist villain, but it is a plot twist that shows that Turbo was still around. That was something which caught me but it was no surprise that King Candy was the villain. It was obvious since when was that? I don't know.
30 years
King
ago?
Candy. It was obvious that King Candy was the villain when it was hinted that he was sabotaging the game codes just so he can take over the game. When
Yeah, because he had
revealed
access
it.
to the game code.
Yeah.
It's like when you see Vanellope's little box unplugged in the zip zaps, but it tells you that King Candy has something against, but it doesn't understand all the pieces. So you still don't see the twist coming because like you just think King Candy is the quote unquote bad guy, but it's not showing you everything yet. So overall, with a great twist villain, the two likable leads, it's got that fun. How do I put it? It's a modern day Disney film with that modern look. It looks beautiful. It's got great characters, and it's got that cute. Like Toy Story, it has that colorful, vibrant color palette, which makes you. And because you're flip flopping between games, you never feel like you're like I'm kind of bored seeing this visual. So every time you walk around, you see something new, and it always pops your attention. From the first act, from all these little Easter eggs, from the second act to when you're in. I want to say the second act was. Would you say the second act is when they start going into hero's duty?
I would say the second act is around that point, and then it ends after Ralph figures out that Penelope is on the side of the video game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with that. So we get a bit of and then we're on to the climax. And overall, there are some nice little Easter eggs, even throughout Sugar Rush with Nesquik Sand or Oreo. Okay.
Don't forget Diet Coke and the falling Mentos.
Oh yeah, no. It's a fun thing. It makes you hungry for candy. It's got fun, likable characters. The villain is one of the best. Even though he wasn't on my list, but that was because I was doing it for intimidation. But as for a twist villain, yeah, he was on yours. But again, I was doing it based on intimidation. But as for a twist villain, awesome. The characters are likable. The side characters to you are awesome as well. Overall, and of course the soundtrack. Sugar Rush has a good theme. Wreck-It Ralph has its own song. Owls, was it Owl City? Well, they came back to do a good song soundtrack for that. And of course, the retro game feels is good too. And I really do enjoy it. I'm not sure why you put it so low, but I am happy why you put it on the list regardless. So thank you, Adam, for that.
I said this at the start of the video. There's tons of Disney movies. Being thankful was even mentioned.
I am. You probably didn't see Wreck-It Ralph coming this high at all.
See, the fact is, I did not see that coming. Kind of like how I didn't see the plot twist in Wreck-It Ralph coming. When I first reviewed King Candy on the villain ranking, I was like, "Oh, he's not going to like this." So I generally thought you won't be happy about it, but then you brought that up. I was like, "Oh, he didn't mind at all." Oh, okay.
What? This right now?
No, in the villain ranking when I revealed King Candy, I thought you weren't happy with it. And when I realized you were happy with it was when you revealed Wreck-It Ralph as number 2.
It's like, well, when I saw King Candy, I went back to rewatch it, and there you go. Moving on.
I influenced you. Yay! Now, this is probably going to be the end of our friendship now, because now I need to talk about my number 2.
My question is, what could possibly beat it?
Now, Tarzan is here because, as me and Lucas know, it's an amazing story and very captivating, showing the life of a human in a gorilla world. I butchered that very badly.
2 worlds, 1 family.
2 characters from different worlds becoming 1 family. And okay, I need to start things off. The soundtrack is amazing. Gives Lion King a run for its money. I said this in my Renaissance ranking. 2 Worlds,
above Lion King, according to your ranking.
2 Worlds and Son of Man are both incredible songs. I still can't pick which one I prefer more out of them. Strangers Like Me and You'll Always Be in My Heart, also great songs as well. Those are the only 4 songs.
You don't count Trash in the Camp, then?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay.
Those 4 are the only great songs, and technically the only songs. They're all brilliant in their own way. Each have a certain message they try to deliver, and one that I think does the best at delivering the message is actually "You'll Always Be in My Heart." And I'm sure Lucas is happy to hear that, because I believe that's his favorite out of all the songs in that film.
In the entire world, my favorite song is yeah.
Hey, okay. Okay, so characters, Tarzan, we're going to start things off.
Now he's supposed to be a flawed character, though.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing with obvious flaws, and when Jane comes in, the contrast between them is absolutely brilliant. And I agree with Lucas when he said this to me. Tarzan and Jane are one of the best Disney couples there are.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, well, to be fair, Flick and Ada came up before this, but it's a more well-developed version. It's not rushed. It's because it takes place during a montage that it's able to work so well. And then, of course, Phil Collins is doing his thing, which also have boosted that up too.
Yeah, this one kind of reminds me of Aladdin and Jasmine, but the only difference is this one's better. Yeah, there we are. Other characters, Turk and Tantor, they are a great comedic duo, just like Timon and Pumbaa, but Timon and Pumbaa are better, I'm afraid to say. However, they both have their moments where they both shine. And I did not realize until a couple years ago that Turk is actually a girl.
We established it.
Yes. Carla, a great mother figure for Tarzan, and a character which I didn't mention in my Renaissance ranking, which is one of my favorites of this film, because her soft voice and, of course, starting off the song "You'll Always Be in My Heart" is already 2 great points. Not to mention risking a life to save baby Tarzan from Sabor.
We're 3 hours now.
Yeah, I know, a villain that I forgot existed. So many things that Carla's done that makes her a great character. Other characters, Clayton. Do I need to mention him? No, I do not, because I'm not allowed to. Kerchak. Kerchak, easily 3rd favorite character for me. Lucas, is Kerchak one of your favorite characters?
Of course he is. I can see where he's coming from. And to be fair, I don't give it, even though at the end, I don't really understand what Kerchak says this weird thing. He says, like, Tarzan, you were right. No, Kerchak, you were right. You were right to not trust the humans. And what happened? They tried to attack you.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where this is coming from. I'm not sure where that. How is Tarzan right about the humans?
Yeah, Kerchak pays the ultimate price for it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Negative things to say about Tarzan? There isn't. There's nothing negative to say about Tarzan. There's maybe some bias on me showing, but I really have nothing negative to say about it. The only reason
why if you do say something bad, Clayton will point his gun at you.
Yes, that too. The only reason why it's number 2 is because number 1 I have more nostalgia to, and I literally grew up with this movie because it's a month older than me. That's why number 1 is number 1, and this is why
I can't think of. Have you mentioned this movie before or something?
I have mentioned it before, but it's been since I said it was a month older than me.
Okay. Yeah, there better be some good movie if it's beating Tarzan.
I will say, though, Tarzan is my number 1 Disney film.
So it's a Pixar movie?
Yes, it's a Pixar movie. And if you know what it is, don't say it. To the comments, insert name here. The villain from Tarzan is a trope.
Oh, don't tell me. Monsters, Inc.
Is a trope done many times. From which movie or series did they copy this trope? Technically, Rescuers Down Under and a few other stuff. Yeah. So, wait, are you talking about Clayton or Sabor being the trope? Makes you wonder.
Yeah. Which one could you see being more of a trope?
I don't really know. And the other one is, what is your favorite Game of Thrones house faction? I have not watched Game of Thrones.
Number one now.
Yep, number one. 3, 2, 1, go. We both
Adam
know each
knew I was
other's
going
number
to have
one.
Tarzan, so.
And you're right, it is Monsters Inc.
Yeah, I thought so, because there was, of course, Randall you mentioned on your list. And I'm like, really? So this is just nostalgia reason.
Yeah, nostalgia reasons, and also the fact that you can't argue, it's an incredible film. Now, I am a bit upset that I had to put Randall quite low on my villain list, but for once, the villain isn't the star role of the movie. Monsters Inc.'s main role that made it a great film is the chemistry made between Sully and Boo. So for me,
I thought the friendship was between Mike and Sully, but okay.
No, they're already best friends.
Okay.
Nothing between them apart from a door. Literally. But when I was first watching this movie as I was growing up, the reason why I watched it is because of Mike, because he's absolutely hilarious and stupid at times, especially during
And selfish.
And selfish and a bit hard to warm up to Boo. But as the movie progressed, he becomes more humble, but still remains to be that funny, witty guy, but also wisecracking, chuckling jokes, and also unintentionally saving Sully's life.
So basically, yeah, that was a bit dark. He's going to let his friend die.
Yeah, but luckily he didn't. But that's what Sully did to Mike, leaving him in the Himalayas. No, yeah. But as I'm watching this as I'm older, Sully and Boo is the main chemistry I like, because it shows Sully being scared of children touching him because he was taught that they are toxic, and after thinking that children aren't dangerous, they're just scared of their monster. And realizing they are actually just, I don't know what the word
Yeah, that
is.
is one of the nitpicks about this franchise, is that why do the monsters think children are toxic in the first place? Okay.
I don't even know.
See, there's your plot hole.
It might have been something to do with Waternoose's family, because he owned it for the 3 generations, so it could have been the first generation that could have said that and passed it on.
Well, that's stupid then.
Yeah, clearly. There was I can't think of what else to say.
Yeah, your first best movie, and you haven't got much to say about it.
Because there's nothing to say that's negative. Right.
Apart from that plot hole I just pointed out.
Yes, apart from that plot hole. But that doesn't change. It's still number 1 for now. Like I said, it can change multiple times. Okay. The chase scene between Mike, Sully, and Boo, and Randall is probably the most entertaining one, as it's on the most unique. I'm going to say arena for the sake of it. There is, because I do not remember any other fight or chase scene that is anywhere as unique as a door factory.
Well, if you're looking for plot holes in this movie, Adam, I would recommend looking up Everything Wrong with Monsters Inc. on YouTube.
No, I'm not going to have my favorite Disney movie at the moment ruined by CinemaSins.
But you said you were looking for plot holes.
I'm not looking for plot holes. But yeah, I think the whole story as a whole is just really well put together, with some funny jokes chucked in there from Mike especially, and a couple other characters. Not to mention, Fungus is a loyal henchman but doesn't really do much.
Insert names, because he was talking about the coach.
Yeah, and along with some other comparisons to add on that makes it a great movie. Randall is a great character, but I'm not allowed to mention him. I need to stop mentioning his name. But like I said, the main reason why it's number one is because I literally grew up with this movie with it being a month older than I am. So it would turn 24. That's kind of depressing. But another point is the relationship between Boo and Sully. That's it.
Another plot hole is that people got ticked off that we couldn't see what Boo looked like when she grew up.
What?
You know, at the end where they open the door and Sully smiles and we don't get to see Boo, everyone's like upset, like, damn it.
I don't have a problem with that because that added more onto the emotion of Sully saying goodbye to Boo, and then seeing Sully's face when he reunites with her. It just makes it more emotional for me. Hence why I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, because you're soft. That's the problem, man.
And
all right, let's catch up with the chat real quick.
Let's need to read. Okay, you're going to need to read the comments.
Congratulations, this is like Titanic length now.
What's that?
Yeah, this movie's like 3 hours. It's like 3 hours. It's as long as Titanic movie.
Yeah, the comments are taking ages to load, so I can't read them.
No, I see them all. Trope read that one. What is your? I read that one. He was talking about the poacher, but Clayton. Have you guys seen Onward or Luca? In which movies or TV shows was the poacher being the good guy trope used? Nothing that I know of prior. Right then. So, number one for me is Tarzan, which is no surprise. Obviously, I can't think of any sort of sin for this movie at all, really. From the soundtrack alone, it automatically, like Lion King, immediately demands you to build in, because just run through the wood, chirp the name, and boom, Tarzan, and then cut to the ship burning and cut to two worlds, and we get to see the two perspectives of the two families on there, how things are going. Then Sabor is introduced as this intimidating villain. It all builds to what's going to happen. Sabor kills the parents. Carla gets united with Tarzan and has a little bit of a scuffle with Sabor, and then they get bonded. And then Kojak's going to be, you could see how things are going to set up for his childhood with Kojak neglecting him, and it builds up into his childhood. And we get, of course, You'll Be in My Heart, which is the best song in my career of life that I've heard of. And then from there it goes to Tarzan's childhood, where he's built like an outcast, and it leads into the elephant sequence, which is a bit of a scuffle, and then it just causes more drama. And then there's that scene where Tarzan throws mud at his face so he can try and blend in more, but his mother, take that back. Take that back. His mother, and I say that bluntly because, like, basically she is his mother, because he didn't really have any time with his birth mother at all. So I will say bluntly, mother, yes. And of course that goes into his adulthood, where we get Son of Man. Every time, this movie feels very well paced. Every time, it doesn't feel like they're giving you a song 24/7, does it? It feels like each song sequence is very well paced out.
Yeah,
like
they mean to the story, don't they?
Yeah. So like after You'll Be in My Heart, you get like time for the kid version of Tarzan to develop, and when it feels earned, Son of Man, where he transforms into his manhood. So it feels earned. And then of course you get it built that, and just when you think it can't get any better, it builds up to the Sabor fight, which is probably what a lot of people could have seen coming. And we finally get a wrap-up of this arc. Well, not exactly, because the whole point of this arc is that Kojak's supposed to respect Tarzan, I expect. And it's not really that. How do I put it? Tarzan is respected to the family. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, then. We'll go with that. because yeah, Collab and Turk like him, but you know, but yeah. So once he takes out Sabor, he gets respect of the family, and he was going to get respect from Kojak until we get into Act 2 of the movie. And I feel like this whole thing was handled better than Rescuers Down Under with two stories in one, didn't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%.
Because like both of those stories were going on at the same time, but this one, it's like as soon as one story ends, the other begins. So it doesn't feel like you're trying to focus on two things at once. But yeah, then we get introduced. Tarzan then follows this gunshot sound. We're introduced, of course, to you know who, which we're not going to say anymore. Yes.
Can't mention his name.
Oh, yeah. What is he? Voldemort? Okay.
Okay. I thought he was Joker.
Right. But yeah, but that's when he knew he was born from Africa, and Africa was created to bang. And yep, we're introduced to Clayton, and then of course we're introduced to the humans, and there you go. Where Tarzan reveals that he's part of this society, and he tries to understand what's going on, and then he bonds with the humans, and he experiences some sort of mature changes, mature feelings, shall we say? That's putting it bluntly and shortly, without going a bit further into it. But Adam knows I'm going to. And then we get strangers like me, and then they try to figure it out. And then it's a very the movie, and it builds to the romance, and the comedy is well given. The love story is well given. The villain, yeah, it is predictable, but overall, I think this is supposed to be. We're supposed to normally a Disney villain either is a twist or they're obviously the bad guy. Here, it's a bit of both. There's kind of a twist in quotes, but it's telling the audience, hey, this guy is the villain. But the characters don't know that. So you get to smile with him. That's how I always got off of it. You know what I mean? So in a way, they're trying to do something new with the formula. Trying to retweak it. So yeah, I felt it. And you can just smile with Clayton when all things go down. And Clayton is both a fun villain, but you also see some threat from the man. And of course, it all builds into the what Tarzan's place in the world is, and he has to go back and help the brothers. So overall, great soundtrack. Two great villains. Side characters, awesome. From Carla, from Kerjak, Tantor and Turk, awesome. Love stuff. Did I mention that?
No, but I did.
That's 4 then. Soundtrack, I mentioned that.
Yep.
Villain?
Yep. Well, not villain, it's villains, but
okay,
that's the point.
Main lead, overall, Tarzan throughout, from beginning to end, is a flawless movie I could easily watch over and over again. And I can't really sin anything apart from this one teeny little bitty thing. Tarzan should not be able to mimic the sound of a gunshot. That's all I've got to say.
To be fair, he shouldn't be able to mimic the sound of an elephant, but he still does that, doesn't he?
Well, to be fair, how do you think he talks to Tantor then? Got me. Thank you. And then, of course, it's also expanded in the series, very well handled too. But yeah, that's what I've got to say on Tarzan. And overall, we're officially 3 hours and 17 minutes in. We've officially done the ranking, and there it is. This is our longest one now.
You could watch Endgame and still have more minutes left.
So is this the longest? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys staying in tune for this.
I will say your list is very interesting. There are some movies on there which I have not seen. Don't worry, I'll add it yet. But I'll say an interesting list. Most of the films I have seen, and all quite good.
But yeah, I appreciate everything. Even though we didn't agree with how we ordered stuff. To be fair, there are some we did agree with, which were identical spots. But yeah, overall, great list. What ranking will we be doing next? Do you want to do another Disney one, or shall we switch to another topic?
Well, it'll probably be either Disney villain, no, Disney songs. We can't include the villain songs, I don't think. Or it would be.
I don't mind doing the villain songs. Are you want to do those?
Yes. Okay then. So Disney songs, casting villain songs, or it would be DreamWorks movies, would you say?
Okay.
One of those two, let's say. You take a break from Disney, or you keep with the Disney train. Choo choo.
I'll do a poll. I know that's going to happen because I think the fans want us to say in the matter.
Don't worry, we
Right,
already
then.
got one vote. We already got one vote for DreamWorks. Jack Griffin do DreamWorks films ranking.
Oh, that's one vote for that. Just between you and me, Adam, are we doing? Are you planning to do any more movie reactions for the remaining Disney movies that you haven't seen yet today?
Yeah, but I got to take a few minutes break because I gotta do something quickly.
I just want to ask because look, I'm wondering if any of those specific movies are they the ones that I asked that I can react with you?
Hold on, just checking.
The ones that I was
So
interested in.
At the moment, for you guys, you can listen to this. I am currently watching the post-Renaissance era movies. Dinosaur and Emperor's New Groove are the only ones I've seen. The next one is one Lucas is gonna want to watch.
Oh, is it Atlantis?
Yes, it is Atlantis.
Oh, we're doing Atlantis finally. Oh, Adam's gonna enjoy that because I compared the villain to Frollo, so like he better be good.
Yeah, you compared him. You said so many good things about him. I have high expectations now. Super Legend Star Wars Universe says, "Oh, you still again?" What? Yeah, we're still on. Yeah, we've been going on for 3 hours 20 minutes now. Speaking of which, let's wrap up this stream before it gets any longer, shall we?
3 hours, 20 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Subscribe to Adam, of course, if you haven't seen any more of his awesome videos. What videos can you expect from us next? For me, Lego Customs. For Adam?
Probably has to be Battle of the Beast round 2, new generation. Otherwise, people are going to get impatient with me again.
And remember, guys, make sure you subscribe to Adam Fearns' archive channel because he'd rather have subscribers on the Adam Fearns archive channel than the actual Adam Fearns channel, from what I've heard from Adam. But that'll be all from me and Adam. That being said, Adam, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah. Peace. Peace out.